time. So I think Valiente was also coming off one of his best matches. So it is nice to see him back in there. But with Sam Sarver, I think that tells you a little bit about Eric Quill's tactics tonight, and that's going to be a little bit of transition soccer, a lot of transition soccer, try to get it in behind on big balls.
And Fear Not fan Santi Moreno is available off the bench tonight, so he is available for FC Dallas if they need a lift a little bit later. Looking at the midfield, obviously Kaique, Bernard Kamungo, Harmon Johansson have become basically written in pen lately, sans a little bit of rotation. But Ramiro, the Capital, is back. He returned on Wednesday, played a little cameo, about a 20-25-minute cameo when you factor in extra time. He gets the start tonight, and I'll be honest, I don't know how long he can go. I don't really care how long he can go. If he's starting, that's a positive for Dallas in about 5 different ways.
I do care how long he can go because it is a positive for Dallas. He definitely makes the team a little bit more press resistant, and I really think that's going to be critical tonight. I think Chivas is going to press high and hard, and they did the other day against LAFC. They press smart, and their counter press is just relentless. It's like Seattle at their best on the counter press. I also think that Ramiro being in there is going to help Kaique make better choices because he can communicate and they form a good tandem. And nothing at all wrong with Christian Kappas, but I do think Ramiro being in there just gives him just a little bit more calm and just a little bit more sensible play through the midfield.
And it's worth noting Kappas available off the bench tonight for Dallas, which means that if Ramiro can only say, let's go 45, that's a pure speculation on my part. Being able to swap him for Ramiro will keep some of the legs off Kappas, who's played a lot of minutes, since the World Cup restart. Then in the back line, we see one more piece of rotation. Osaze Urguide to the bench. Don't worry, he is available tonight if they need him. It's Shaq Moore, Sebastian Biaga, Nolan Norris in some form or fashion. And, we talk about guys that have played a lot of football, pre and now post-World Cup. Osaze is one of those guys, but it's such a luxury to be like, oh, yeah, we'll take off arguably our best defender for maybe our best defender, because that's about 1 in 1A right now when it comes to the Dallas defensive chart.
No, you're right, because what I really like about the defense all year, but particularly right now during this busy stretch, is that this team is 4 deep along a 3-man back line. And I think that's really handy. I mean, we know how good Osaze is. Nolan keeps adding elements of maturity to his game. Nolan Norris, that is. Ibiaga, I think he's really benefiting from not having to play a whole lot this year. He looks, every time he steps on the field now, to me, he looks really fresh. He looks good. And then all that said, I think, as you hinted there, Shaq Moore has been the team's defensive MVP. So I think you've got 4 good selections for 3 spots, and that's you used the word luxury. I think that's absolutely correct.
An interesting depth note tonight for Dallas, of course, Osaze Urguide on the bench, Lalo Sabubakar as expected. Alvaro Augusto is on the bench tonight for Dallas. I'm not sure exactly what the use case would be to bring him in against Chivas, but just something to keep in your back pocket if you're looking for something kind of unique. And, speaking of Shaq Moore, it's not just us that thinks he's pretty good. So does the club, as they announced he has a contract extension that came up just, I believe it was either Thursday or yesterday. He'll be extended through the 27-28 new campaign with an option for the year after. And, we can look across the team and be like, well, that guy deserves an extension, that guy deserves an extension. You don't go real far down that list without looking at a guy like Shaq Moore, who since he arrived last year has been as quality gets for Dallas.
You look at guys sometimes and you think sort of in the big picture that late 20s is the sweet spot. Because you're old enough to know and you're still young enough to do. Well, he's 29. He's still got good tread on the tires. His versatility is certainly proven to be a valuable asset. That versatility, by the way, in the big picture, gives this club some real roster flexibility and who else they might go after. So he's been very durable. I tell you what, I'm happy for him. I think the club has really benefited from a guy that really didn't cost them much when they got him. I think it was $150,000 in
it was
GAM,
basically nothing because Nashville was in
Nashville.
such payroll hell.
That's exactly right. So he's been a heck of a guy to have on the team, and happy for him.
From sticking around to heading on out, we saw the news. I know this was late this week that Enes Sali, the Romanian international, is on his way to Spain. La Liga 2 side FC Andorra. I don't know if they're the Rabbits or not, but they probably should be if they're not. But he will be joining them on a couple-year contract. It's a permanent transfer after he spent the last 2 seasons on loan at Al Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And this one feels kind of like it was the best for both sides. Based on the playing time, Solly never really got much here in Dallas. It seemed like he was always either with North Texas or on loan somewhere. But to get to go to a La Liga 2 side that, may challenge for promotion here in a couple years, and that gives him the chance to develop, and it opens up some roster space for Dallas too.
Yeah, that one just didn't work out. They thought they had something that they could spin up into a valuable asset when they signed him at age 17 as part of a MLS U22 initiative program. At that time, he already had a full Romanian international appearance, and he did play a big part in that MLS Next Pro Championship for North Texas back in 24. But his progress stalled, and the truth is, no MLS team bats 1,000 on these international signings. When you sign them that young, you sort of betting on the improvement factor. It just didn't really get there. So good luck to Ina Sally. We hardly knew you.
And considering you're not an international club like Bayern or Dortmund or some of the Chelsea, the Chelsea Man City class that could just buy about 20 U20s and give them a shot, you're kind of rolling a six-sided die there, and sometimes it just doesn't quite work out. Well, speaking of Giants, let's talk about tonight's opponent, Chivas de Guadalajara, or Chivas, the Goats. And even though Dallas is listed as the home team for this game as it's in America, I wouldn't count on this being a home game considering it's so close to Mexico. Chivas is a huge club, one of the biggest in Mexico. And this is going to be, Steve, I think fair to say, an elevated test from what we saw on Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think this match is going to look anything in a lot of ways like what we saw Wednesday in Mansfield. You said something about it being close to Mexico. Yeah, California's on the Mexico border, but Chivas USA, Chivas. I knew I would do that at some point. Not reference Chivas USA. God rest them in peace. Chivas is popular all over the United States. I think there's a really good comparison with the Dallas Cowboys and Chivas Guadalajara, because Dallas Cowboys historically have been maybe the most popular NFL team, but they're not in the biggest market, right? It's not in L.A., it's not in New York. Same way with Chivas. They're in Guadalajara. That's about 350 miles outside of Mexico City. So they're not one of the Mexico City teams, not one of the teams in the biggest market, but they might be the country's most popular team. So one of the things that makes them really popular is that long-standing tradition of only signing Mexican players. You're a Chilean international that wants to play for Chivas. Well, that's too bad, because you've got to be Mexican by birth or by heritage. Your grandparents or something. Were from Mexico. Then you can be part of that Chivas machine, but otherwise not. And by the way, I saw that game against LAFC the other day. The stadium was just pulsing. It was because of the 3-2-5-2, but also because there's a lot of Chivas fans there. There's going to be a lot of Chivas fans at PayPal Park tonight.
Yeah, we're getting some early images in from PayPal Park, and the red, white, and blue are already there. And I'm not talking about fans of the United States of America. That is a distinct Chivas brand mark there. But that is Steve Davis, who is a distinct brand mark of the FC Dallas pregame show. You'll hear him and Ryan Figert join me in the third segment and on the call tonight for this Leagues Cup game. Steve, thank you as always.
You're welcome.
When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, it's time for Today in FC Dallas History. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire, because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here!
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
Want to hear something incredible?
The treatments are over, the infusions are done. Now you can get back to all the kid fun. We'll miss you lots, but you'll be happy to know chemo is over, so it's time to go.
At Children's Health, we're making groundbreaking advancements in cancer treatments every day to bring more healing and more hope to families. Innovative treatments filled with hope. That's incredible together. Learn more at childrens.com.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Winner, winner, Chick-fil-A dinner. All season long when FC Dallas wins at home, fans win free Chick-fil-A. Be sure your Chick-fil-A app is up to date. Location services are turned on when you attend matches at Toyota Stadium. After the team wins, before you leave your seats, open the app to redeem the Chick-fil-A offer. Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network. In our next segment, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis will join me to break down the lineups and tactics for tonight's Leagues Cup showdown. But first, let me tell you about the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed, available everywhere you get great free podcasts. It's anchored by the postgame show, highlights, stats, analysis, everything you need to know about the game that was in just about 30 minutes. It goes live shortly after the final whistle and is then posted on our feed shortly after, available for your consumption whenever you need great game analysis. And we're in Season 2 of the FC Dallas Agenda, which is the official FC Dallas podcast. That's Ryan, Steve, and Garrett Meltzer giving you in-depth analysis, big-time interviews, everything you need about your favorite MLS club. Those episodes normally drop on Wednesdays, unless it's a congested match week, or we've got big news that we need to announce, adjust, and adjudicate. And we've launched the build-up this season. It's your FC Dallas game preview show. It's about 20 minutes long. It gives you lineup analysis, injury report, opposition research, everything you need for the game upcoming, dropping just over 24 hours before kickoff of the next contest. So how do you access all this great free content? Go to your podcast provider of choice, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Type in FC Dallas Radio Network and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our great free content. Now let's get to today in FC Dallas history. Oddly enough, FC Dallas has only played once on this specific date, August 8th, in club history. That was back in 2010, on a Sunday no less, at then Pizza Hut Park against the Philadelphia Union. It wasn't a fun start for Shells Hyman's bunch as they went down 1-0 in the 9th minute. Philly striker Alejandro Moreno gets credit for the goal, but it was a chaotic malfunction at the junction between 3 Dallas defenders and a pair of Union men where the ball ended up in the back of the net. Dallas got a let off in the 22nd minute, however, when Union keeper Brad Knighton clattered into Dallas forward Breck Shea, forcing a red card from referee Jair Marufo. David Ferreira would put home the subsequent penalty to tie the game. It would stay tied until the 75th minute, when Shea launched a cross into the box for striker Jeff Cunningham, who headed it home to give the Burn the lead. Dallas's number 9 at the time would celebrate with a fan sign from the south end, asking the striker for his jersey. Cunningham wasn't done yet, though. 6 minutes later, he scored a second goal to seal the victory. This time, he climbed over the ad boards, hopped into the south stands, and did mock photography to celebrate the eventual 3-1 victory. Today's Remember Some Guy candidate hasn't been mentioned just yet, but that's for a purpose. When Knighton was sent off, the Union had to sacrifice a player to get on a new keeper. That ended up being journeyman midfield Justin Mapp coming off, for then backup Philadelphia keeper Chris Seitz. Despite conceding all 3 Dallas goals, that wouldn't be the end of Seitz's chapter in Frisco. 2010 was the former 4th overall pick's final season in the city of brotherly love. Next season, he would begin a 7-season run with Dallas featuring 66 starts, 21 clean sheets, and the starting job during Dallas's historic 2016 double-winning campaign. When we return on the FC Dallas pregame show, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis join me to help break down tonight's lineup and tactics. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
This is Logan Farrington, striker for FC Dallas. Behind every goal, there's a team you don't always see. The ones keeping everything running, secure, connected, ready. That's General Informatics. From cybersecurity to smarter IT solutions, General Informatics powers FC Dallas with advanced technology support so we can stay focused on the game. General Informatics. Complex IT made simple.
Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota here on the FC Dallas Radio Network. We've got about 20 minutes from kickoff at PayPal Park, so let's go ahead and get you the starting lineups for tonight's contest. And those starting lineups are brought to you by Advocare. We'll start first with the roadside Chivas de Guadalajara and second-year manager Gabriel Milito. It's Raul Rangel in net tonight for the Goats, Diego Campillo, Luis Romo, and Miguel Gomez alongside him. Brian Gonzalez, Ruben Gonzalez, Omar Govea, and Ricky Ledesma in the midfield alongside Angel Sepulveda, Armando Gonzalez, and Roberto Alvarado tonight as the starting 11 for Chivas. And now let's go ahead and get you the starting lineup for FC Dallas and second-year manager Eric Quill.
Jonathan Sirois, goalkeeper, Montreal, Canada.
Shaq Moore, right back, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Sebastian Ibiaga, center back, Duke University.
Nolan Norris, midfielder, Fort Worth, Texas.
Herman Johansson, wingback, Sweden.
Ramiro Benetti, midfielder, Brazil.
Kaique, midfield, Brazil.
Bernard Camungo, I'm a winger, and I'm from Abilene, Texas.
Joaquín Valiente, mediocampista, Uruguay.
Petar Musa, forward, from Zagreb, Croatia.
Sam Sarver, forward, Chesterland, Ohio.
And the subs tonight for Dallas, Osaze Uragide, Lalo Sabubakar, Ron Benjamin, Patrickson Delgado, Santi Moreno, Christian Kappas, Nick Simmons, Alvaro Augusto, Logan Farrington, Michael Colodi, and Clay Holstad. And now let's throw it out to San Jose as our own Garrett Meltzer had a talk with noted San Jose celebration expert and Dallas forward, Sam Sarver.
Hey guys, I'm here with the one and only Sam Sarver. Sam, you're getting the start tonight. How are you feeling before tonight's game?
I'm pretty pumped, good memories in the stadium, so hopefully score another goal and get three points.
Do we think we might see another celebration if that does come to pass?
For sure. Different celebration, but you'll for sure see one.
Well, I hope to definitely see it. So we usually see you come off the bench tonight. You'll be starting from minute 1. Does that change your mindset at all on how you enter the game?
No, I think Coach has stressed to me he wants me to come in with the same mindset as I do as a sub, I think when you come in as a sub a lot, you have the mindset of nothing to lose and just go out there and just try to win the game. And coming from minute 1, it's got to be the same mentality, so not change up how I play or who I am.
This being League's Cup, of course, you really need to get 3 points in almost every game to advance because of how these tables work. How does that change the team's mentality coming here in San Jose, play against a team like Chivas?
Obviously, they're one of the biggest and most respected clubs in Mexico, but like you said, this year, the way the points work, it's every point is valuable. So, you go out there and you try to win it. You don't play for pens. You don't play for a draw. You kind of leave all your cards on the table and try to get it done in the first 90.
Right now, we're walking on the field here at PayPal Park. What do you think of this venue, the surface, everything? The weather's pretty nice right now.
Yeah, ideal weather. Beautiful venue, to be honest, and the grass is really nice. So I'm excited. A lot of Chivas fans here, so hopefully we show out for the Dallas fans that are coming too.
Awesome. Sammy, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Best of luck. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, Sam. Ahead of tonight's start for Sam Sarver, he spoke with Garrett out at PayPal Park in San Jose. And now let's bring in our commentators for tonight. It's Ryan Figert. It's Steve Davis. And Ryan, we talked a little bit about this on the build-up about how MLS is overperforming a little bit in Leagues Cup. 10 wins coming into tonight for the tournament. Of course, there's 18 MLS teams. But it's going to be a struggle if Dallas wants to advance. They're probably going to need at least 2 points, and they might even need 3.
Yeah, I don't know if it's overperforming. I think we have to take into consideration home advantage, certainly. And there are now, for the first time, some games in Mexico going on in this year's Leagues Cup. And Dallas is going to get a taste of that on Wednesday. But I think the home advantage really accounts for the difference in the points in the table so far. You look at the teams that have already got 6 points. There's 3 of them on the MLS side, and if Inter Miami holds on from a winning position, there'll be 4, and only 4 go through. So Dallas is looking to join that group as amongst the contenders to potentially go through on the final match day.
And Steve, obviously we talked a little bit about segment 1, but if Dallas is somehow able to fight their way through what's going to end up being a really tough group, we obviously saw what Toluca did on Wednesday against Seattle. This Chivas team hung tough with LAFC, who is a very talented team. If Dallas can somehow make their way, even just getting, I would say, like 5 points out of this stretch, they won't probably advance, but I think it'll be a very good showing.
Yeah, and it makes the last game relevant. By the way, I wouldn't say that Chivas hung tough against LAFC. They were the better team in the second half. It was pretty. You can make an argument they were the better team in the first half. They didn't win the penalty kick battle, but they looked really good. They didn't take advantage of scoring chances in the second half. So with Sam Sarver, look, Chivas want the ball. They want numbers around it. They want to win it back immediately when they lose it. But that ambition creates the opportunity for Dallas. If FC Dallas can play through that first 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 seconds of pressing hell, there's space in behind to attack. What does that mean? Sam Sarver. So there's why when I said a while ago, Eric Quill, I think it tells us what he wants to do tonight. He recognizes that they're going to have difficulty playing out of the press. So what do? You go over the press. That's how they LAFC, by the way, got their goal the other day against Chivas.
In addition to Stone Cold Sam Sarver, Ryan, we've also got Petar Musa back in the starting 11 tonight. And we saw how much he changed the game from a tactical perspective on Wednesday when he came in for the injured Anderson Julio. But if you're going to play over the top, there's not many more guys you really want to have from both a shooting and a facilitating perspective in that 9 spot than the Moose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was a no-brainer for Eric Quill when he picked his lineup, and I think they would have liked to get Moose off his feet a little bit more on Wednesday, but obviously with that early injury for Julio, that wasn't possible. So when you look at the construction of the front three, I think you've sort of got, profiles of runners in behind, which is Sam Sarver, Anderson Julio. You've got your prototypical number 9s, Musa and Logan. Then you have your creative types, which are Patrickson, Santi Moreno, and Joaquin Valiente, who starts tonight. I think the most balanced version of the front three has one of each of those. A runner, a hold-up 9, and a creative player. And Logan Farrington sort of may be the one to lose out in that, but he can play in both of those roles, maybe not as well as those more specialist types, but he can run in behind, he can be creative, and so I think that's why it's worked when they've played up front together. But I think, the most balanced version of this lineup and this formation has a runner in behind, has Petar Musa, and has one of the creative types underneath, so I think there could be some good chemistry between this group tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure any Dallas forward group is complete without Petar Musa just in general. I don't care if you put you and me next to him. If he's not there, it's probably not going to work. And, Steve, it kind of feels it's very unintentionally sliding as we talk about Sarver and Musa. Joaquin Valiente, who, by the way, is coming into tonight off his best game as a Dallas player. He scores a goal. He's got an assist. And, despite the fact he played pretty much the full stretch of that game, he was still running and gunning. He was like the Energizer Bunny. He just couldn't stop, even through that 90 minutes at a hot night in Mansfield.
Yeah, but I don't argue with anything you just said, but hearing you say it kind of makes me a little scared for him tonight because they barely had a chance to dry out their shoes and socks and grab a slice of pizza, and they were really right back on a plane, headed back out to the West Coast. So you're absolutely right. I thought he was really good the other night. We know how good he is in the press. He's become a little bit of an assist master around here, so it was nice to see him get the goal. But he did a lot of work, and now against Chivas tonight, where they are going to make you work a lot, we'll see how well he holds up.
I will say, having seen Joaquin Valiente's build, I'm not sure the last time he had an actual slice of pizza. I'd be curious to know the answer to that. Maybe we can ask Garrett if he can get that answer.
Thin crust,
hey,
for sure.
Leo Messi likes pizza. It's just a disgusting Argentinian version that looks, I don't know.
That's not pizza. I don't know what that is. That's an abomination, an affront to all things holy, but we're not here for that. We're here for FC Dallas Soccer. And Ryan, speaking of things that are not affronts, Ramiro back tonight. He suffered a foot injury when they were trying to get back going. It was a little bit of a surprise to see him at training before Leagues Cup started. But not only is he back, he's back starting tonight. And I'm sure there's players that have bigger impacts, guys like Musa and such. But when it comes to overall leadership, communication, and organization, I would argue number one on this squad is the Capital.
Yeah, it's great to see him back for sure. I think for all of the work that he does with the ball at his feet and defensively, it's his work organizing the group, communicating on the field that is the most important, in terms of what he brings to this side. And to see him back wearing the armband, I think really encouraging from that perspective. So excited to see him back out there. And we've seen Kayik at his best when Ramiro's in there alongside him. And I think the next evolution for Kayik is figuring out how to do it without Ramiro. But fortunately, we don't have to start that tonight as he's back in.
It is going to be interesting to see how far Ramiro can go tonight. But I will say this. It's 80 degrees right now in San Jose. I've been out there for matches that as the sun sets, it gets cool really quickly. So that's going to help him a little bit. And honestly, I don't think he's going to have to cover all that much ground tonight because I don't think they're going to be in the Chivas end a lot. I think they're going to be doing a lot of defending. I hope they're in Chivas end a lot. I think they're going to be doing a lot of defending, so he's going to have to cover ground going side to side, but I don't know how much he's going to be doing vertically. We'll see.
Well, and meanwhile, Steve Kayik is in alongside him, and we've seen that's probably the best pound-for-pound pairing in Dallas's midfield, at least here in 2026. But I feel like even though Kayik has had the discipline, the ability to go 90, he always puts in the effort. The results as of late, especially post-World Cup, have been just a little up and down. Hopefully, maybe with Ramiro back on the pitch now, they can return to that very quality form we've seen the young Brazilian.
Yeah, but I think that's always been the deal with him. He's just been inconsistent, though. I remember we talked on one of the podcasts a little while back that whereas last year it might have been one good, one bad, one good, one bad, something like that, some kind of ratio like that. Now I felt like this year we were getting two good and one just okay, something like that. So the ratio was improving. It was moving the right way. Interruption of a season the way we saw it is not easy on anybody, but I do feel like a veteran player can probably handle it better than a young player. So we'll see what happens tonight. But I'm not that worried about him, to be honest with you. I think this is the blip on the radar, I think.
Meanwhile, Ryan, before we look at Chivas, one big change tonight in the defensive side. Shaq Moore comes back into the starting lineup. That sends Osaze Urguide to the bench. And, you never want to see Osaze off the field because he's just been such a rock for Dallas since arriving last season. But if you're going to replace him, having Shaq Moore, who you can argue has been just as good at what he does as Osaze is at what he does, is a really, really nice consolation prize.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about it in the build-up where I think it's the last decision that Erko has to make every week is where is Shaq going to play. He knows he's going to play, and he picks the rest of the group, and then he says, okay, Shaq, we need you as a right wing back. We need you as a left center back. We need you as a right center back. We need you to play left back today. And he can do all of them to a high level. And getting him back in the 11, obviously he's the co-captain alongside Ramiro, so there's that leadership as well in a big game in a hostile atmosphere. You get an experienced player who's been at the highest level of a World Cup into the game, into the lineup. I think that's a big win. And for Osaze, it's a well-earned rest. He's played a large majority of the minutes when he's been available, and they need to keep him fresh, keep him healthy going into the back half of the season.
And you're going to want him, if Toluca ends up meaning anything when you're down in Mexico, you're going to want that guy on the field. So giving him the break tonight is probably the smart thing. But we can't worry about that yet because it's Chivas tonight. Technically the road team, but as we're seeing in the crowd, your eyes don't deceive you. They're probably going to be the decided crowd favorite tonight. They've got one win in the Apertura so far in Liga MX. They drew on Wednesday, had a shootout loss. But, Steve, don't let that, if you're just looking at the numbers or the headlines, confuse you. Gabby Milito is in his second season, and he's brought a lot of young signings. This is a very young but very talented Chivas team Dallas is going to deal with tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like they haven't started great in the Liga MX Apertura. And then the other day, they get the draw, and then the penalty kicks don't work out against LAFC. But I feel like when I've watched them, and I watched that whole game the other day, they were good. I think it's just a situation where they're just not quite getting the results right now off of good performances, and I expect them to be, again, very tough tonight.
One thing to watch out for is fitness levels for Chivas in this one, just because they're only 3 games into their season. Dallas, they had the break for the World Cup, but they were coming off of, a full first half of the season. I think the fitness edge goes Dallas's way in this game.
And a couple players to watch out for in their starting 11 tonight. Armando Gonzalez is up top. He was their leading scorer last year, 24 goals in 34 games with Chivas last year, and he's only 23 years old. He's not exactly a salty sea dog out there. Also, midfielder Brian Gonzalez, who looks like he'll set up on the left today. 5 goals, 5 assists in the same 34 games. He's also only 23. And a couple of familiar names, Ricky Ledesma, who was in the dual national scene for the U.S. and Mexico over the last about half decade. You probably recognize that if you're a U.S. sicko. and Efrain Alvarez, who spent time in the Galaxy Academy before he moved to Chivas as Militao got things started. But he is on the bench tonight. He will not be starting for the Goats. But let's go ahead and get to tonight's keys to the match. They're presented by Toyota, and they're also presented by Steve Davis.
Thank you, Sam. Number one is just being press resistant. Chivas pressed LAFC a lot. The counter press was relentless. They committed a lot of numbers to the attack, which means that sets you up to counter press effectively. So Dallas has to avoid being lured into those traps that Chivas want to set for you, and they have to play the ball direct quite frequently tonight, I think. Number two is the wingbacks are going to be critical because Chivas, both teams play a version of 3-4-3 right now. That means the opposing wingbacks will sort of find themselves matched up. Chivas want those wingbacks up high as quickly as they can, hoping to sort of occupy defenders so they can then find the interior passing lane. So Bernie and Herman Johansson, they have to track back faithfully. And then they also have to get into the attack. It's not an easy assignment, considering they played a lot the other day, but that's the job tonight. Number three is just breaking out and behind Chivas' back line. I mentioned a minute ago there's a trade-off for Chivas' ambition. They want possession. They want numbers forward. But if you break the pressure, they can be attacked vertically, and to me that just screams Sam Sarver. As good as we all know Musa is at scoring goals, I could see a Musa feeding a fast-breaking Sam Sarver for an important goal tonight. Sam, those are your keys presented by Toyota.
Thank you, Steve Davis. That's going to do it for our pregame show. We will take a break, and when we come back, Ryan and Steve will get you ready for kickoff from PayPal Park. It's FC Dallas. It's Chivas to Guadalajara. It's the 2026 Leagues Cup Phase 1, Game 2 for the Burn. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now. We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care.
The treatments are over, the infusions are done. Now you can get back to all the kid fun. We'll miss you lots, but you'll be happy to know chemo is over, so it's time to go.
At Children's Health, we're making groundbreaking advancements in cancer treatments every day to bring more healing and more hope to families. Innovative treatments filled with hope. That's incredible together. Learn more at childrens.com.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
FC Dallas takes the next step in their Leagues Cup journey tonight on the West Coast as they face off with Gigantes de Mexico, Chivas de Guadalajara at PayPal Park, the usual home of the San Jose Earthquakes, where Dallas won not too long ago, back on May 16th. And that one was, of course, put the exclamation point by Sam Sarver with his late winning goal in that one. And Sam Sarver is in the 11 tonight for his first start, his first game action in 3 games. And as we talked about on the pregame show, Steve, that clearly indicates how Dallas wants to play. They want to play in transition, and they want to get in behind, and Sam Sarver epitomizes that.
Yeah, and it's got to be a little bit of an advantage for Dallas having gone in there not so recently, rather very recently, and they're walking back in the same locker room, had all those good feelings, walking over those weird stairs there at PayPal Park you have to take to get to the end of the stadium area. So I think that's going to help them a little bit tonight. And by the way, Chivas is coming off a pretty emotional game the other day against LAFC. The crowd, as I mentioned, was really into it. So maybe they catch Chivas on a little bit of a come down tonight.
Well, it will certainly be a pro Chivas crowd in PayPal Park tonight. And these two teams have met once before, back in 2007, a 1-1 draw in the now not so famously defunct North American Superliga. The club posting highlights of that one on social media today. A different era, but these two teams completely different now. Maybe the only carryover from that game is Kenny Cooper, who's now in the FC Dallas front office. As we get set for kickoff in just a moment, the captains meeting with the officials, who today are from Costa Rica. Jose Ugalde is the center referee, assisted by Luis Granadas and Henry Pupiro. The video assistant referee is Jesus Montero. And meeting with Chivas captain Luis Romo is Dallas captain Ramiro. And Steve, he's back in the 11 tonight in midfield alongside Kaique, and that is huge. In a game like this where you're expecting Dallas to have to organize and be astute defensively, that's the man you want in midfield.
For sure. We've talked before about how Kaique Kappa's a good midfield duo, but they're both more box-to-box guys, what we call eights, whereas Ramiro is a classic holding midfielder. He wants to sit there and screen the back line. He wants to connect the lines with the ball. He's not that interested in getting forward himself. He's just there to screen. So I think that helps Dallas tonight.
The captain for Chivas, Luis Romo, one of multiple Mexican internationals who represented El Tri at the World Cup in the 11 tonight for Chivas, including Raul Rangel, who was the starting goalkeeper for the Mexican side at the World Cup. Dallas wearing their light bluish white. I still haven't figured out how to call this kit. It's essentially appears white on the monitor.
White to me.
It's got some blue, it's got some gray to it, but it also has red piping on the sides and back. And Chivas are in their famous red and white vertical stripes with blue shorts and blue socks. Dallas will move from left to right from our vantage point in the first half, although it looks like they might be switching sides here after the coin toss, and now instead erase that from your memory. They'll move from right to left. Jonathan Sirwal in an all-blue uniform, coming off of back-to-back 9-save clean sheets, Steve. And some of those saves from outside the box, more routine, but he particularly showed us something late in the game in Mansfield on the Wednesday. He's really finding a new level in net for Dallas.
Yeah, I mentioned on the postgame show that night, Ryan, he just looked more settled for whatever reason. Everything that he did sort of was reassuring, whereas before he was making the saves, but it all looked just a little bit unstable. So the other day, he really showed me something, and that he came into a match that they really needed to win and really did his part.
Again, Chivas about to kick off. We'll move from left to right. We are underway at PayPal Park against one of the Gigantes from Mexico. It's dropped all the way back to Rangel, who's wearing bright pink in net for Chivas. Dallas putting the pressure on, coming out sprinting from the kickoff as it's launched up the near side for Chivas. Norris able to win it back for Dallas, launches it down the line, and it's out. Last touch off the Mexican side for a throw-in for Bernie Camungo. Taken forward, and Musa bringing it down now. At the second touch, he's brought down, and it will be a free kick for Dallas. And it's in a nice position, wide on the attacking left, about 35 yards from goal.
Yeah, immediately we see what Musa can give you that Dallas just didn't have in the first 20 minutes the other night before Anderson Julio unfortunately had to leave. But, the ability to play right into him, and then he's not able to hold the ball, but he's able to draw a foul and give Dallas an early good free kick opportunity.
So it'll be either Ramiro or Valiente, right foot or left. Valiente scoring his first Dallas goal on Wednesday, raises the right arm. Chivas set their line a couple of steps into the penalty area. Players battling with Sun at the back post. As Ramiro steps over it, Valiente lifts it in, and Rangel punches away, dealing with that Sun. It's lifted back into the area by Kaique, headed away again. Ramiro back towards goal. This one will be comfortable for the goalkeeper to claim.
Yeah, Rangel, you're right, was looking right into it. He could have had an easy uncontested punch, but uncontested catch, but he had to punch that one. I think it had to do with the Sun.
Just over half of the field is shaded, and the roof structure casts an interesting shadow near the midway point horizontally from our vantage point. They're playing in the sun on the far side of the field now. Chivas in possession. Short passes as Dallas sits in the mid-block defensively, and Chivas will return it to the top of the box with Luis Romo, who goes long now out towards the right side. Camungo wins the header defensively. Second ball breaks for Chivas. They work it wide to Ledesma. Overlapping run as they make their way towards the corner flag, but a back heel doesn't come off. Camungo now comes away with it on the dribble, runs into 2 defenders, goes down. Referee waves for play to continue, and Chivas have possession here, middle of the attacking half. Omar Govea switching the play over to Gomez, who's the left center back. Gonzalez switches it back across to the near side for Campillo. And the Chivas fans are in full voice already as Valiente makes a nice interception on the Dallas left, fires it forward to Musa. Musa juggles it past one defender, bouncing in the center circle, trying to lift it out towards Johansson, but it was just under hit. He's able to win it back, nod it back towards the Swede. And Sarver there commits a foul, trying to poke the ball away from behind. And with a combination of a near kit clash, a field halfway baked in sun, and numbers on the back of the Chivas uniform, which are hardly visible to begin with, we are going to do our best tonight to talk you through the action, but it's not going to be an easy one. Chivas restart play, taking it short for Luis Romo. From just shy of the halfway line, they'll move it across the back line now. One player who is easily spotted is Omar Govea. He's got the distinguished hairstyle. Chivas lift it up the near sideline. Ledesma tracks it down. Working against Camungo, who is able to stand tall, drop it back for Norris. Chips it back out to Camungo, who will now volley it clear. Breaks comfortably there for Gonzalez. He's filling in on the Chivas right, one of the midfield 3. On the turn now, poked forward towards the top of the box, looking to hold off Ibiaga there. Now a shot coming in from distance for Chivas. It's blocked out for a throw on the near sideline.
That's a good illustration of what Chivas wants to do. You know, the ball was wide, and whereas Querétaro the other day would have immediately crossed it. Chivas wants possession. They want to knock it around. They want to draw you out just a little bit and then find those interior passing lanes.
Good work there in the press from Musa. Forces Ruben Gonzalez into a wayward pass straight out of play for a Dallas throw.
By the way, one of the things we didn't mention in the pregame, you know, in terms of quality that Dallas is facing tonight, 3 of these starters tonight, just 33 days ago, they were playing for Mexico in that big quarterfinal against England at Azteca.
Nice switching ball from Valiente. Johansson received it, looking for the 1-2 with Sarver. It turns over there. It's back for Rangel, who was one of those starters for Mexico.
Luis Romo and Piojo Alvarado were the other one. Brian Gutierrez came in the 61st minute.
Played up the near sideline. Looking to turn there Gonzalez up against Nolan Norris. They'll recycle possession through the center circle out towards the Chivas left. Wide with Brian Gonzalez. Now lifted into the area. Norris is under it. Sirois as well comes and makes the catch.
Nice claim by Sirois. That's exactly what I was talking about a while ago. He just looks in command back there right now.
Launches it direct towards Musa, just over the head of the Croatian. Sarver was making the run in behind, but Rangel well positioned, sweeps it up. And Chivas in possession will bring it forward from the back line.
And Rangel will do that. He'll play really high, very aggressive. He did it a couple of times against LAFC the other night when they tried to go over the top.
Now it's Sarver putting the pressure on along the near sideline. It's recovered by Luis Romo, dropped back for Rangel. Now certainly coming out with some energy in those pressing opportunities. And as expected, Chivas dominating possession to start this game. It's played into the Dallas half where Shackmore steps out, forces it backwards. Chivas still in possession, now back in their own end. Turning upfield, Campillo now brings it past the halfway line in the Chivas right. It's a switching ball in the air, over the head of the Dallas back line and over everybody's head. It spins out for the goal kick. Applause from the manager for Chivas, Gabriel Milito, the Argentine.
So in behind Petra Musa, it's so far it's been Sam Sarver on the right, playing in that right center channel, and then Valiente on the left. We usually see, I feel like we've seen Valiente a lot more over on the right.
Launch long, flies through off from the goal kick, up to Musa, flicks it on towards the front line. Sarver the only player nearby, but it breaks for Romo, who will turn and again play it back for Rangel. Rangel playing out calmly. Chivas working it up the near side. Now stepping the pressure high up the field. It's a switching ball in the air out to the opposite end. Bounces once, but it's kept in play on the far sideline. And brought forward there by Gonzalez.
And Ryan, you're right. You can barely tell which team it is on the far side of the field once the sun hits them, much less which player it is.
Now advancing forward on the Chivas right, Campillo, the right center back. Now working with Ledesma in the wide areas. Ledesma, nice 1-2. Slips towards the corner flag, now skips past Norris, fires in the low cross, repelled by Ibiaga, out for a throw. Coming here in the 8th minute, Ledesma, the former U.S. Youth International, now representing Mexico. Turning on the sweet feet there. Brought forward through the middle, Romo fires it along the ground, out wide to the left for Gonzalez. Goes down by Johansson, he whips in the low cross towards the near post. It's caught by Sirois.
We talked about Chivas getting numbers forward as that cross came in. There were 4 players inside the penalty area for the Stripes.
Shaq Moore playing it forward. Valiente couldn't keep hold of it. Sarver hit the deck and wanted the free kick before the ball was even played. Kaik, nice tackle to win it back, and it breaks for Sarver, who lifts the ball in behind towards Musa. Over his head, he's going to try and track it down. Brought wide, and he does receive it. Tried to knock it past the defender there, and instead ends up committing the foul on Campillo. We expected it would be Musa trying to play Sarver in behind, and there we saw the opposite. It's clearly a point of emphasis to try and get over the top of this Chivas back line.
Yeah, it was a pretty good ball from Sarver. Just played a little bit too far ahead of Musa. Took him a little bit too far over to the left.
Possession in the middle, the defensive half for Chivas. Work it forward up to the halfway line, moving towards their left-hand side. Bringing it forward, Miguel Gomez. Combining short passes, Dallas swarming 3 players around the ball. Ramiro able to deflect it. Sarver trying to find a teammate. The loose ball breaks for Kaik, who immediately fires it forward to Musa. One-time pass looking for Ramiro is intercepted. Chivas, who only have 1 regulation win, and now their 4th year competing in Leagues Cup. They also have 1 penalty shootout victory. As they bring it forward now up the far side. Played wide into the attacking third. Gonzalez whips it into the crowded 6-yard box, header up and over the bar. And it will be a corner kick as the Dallas defender got a piece of that one ahead of Piojo Alvarado.
Yeah, Alvarado got up over Nolan Norris that time, but Nolan doing just enough to just make sure he had a body on Piojo.
The corner kick will come from the near side, although it looks like it may have been overturned, which is a new rule that was implemented first at the World Cup, now in play here in Leagues Cup. The VAR quickly stepping in and awarding a goal kick instead for Sirois. Launched long out towards the Dallas right. Musa brings it down with the bottom of his foot. Sets it up for Johansson. Moves it backwards into the Dallas half, all the way back for Sirois again. Who lifts it high up into the sky. Both players dealing with the sun there, but Dallas keeps possession. Kaik, ball in behind, looking for the run of Kamungo. Rangel way out off his line, able to cut that one out and send it up the other end. Ibiaga hits the deck as the loose ball bounces through for Shaq Moore. Tangle up there with Gonzalez. Dallas now working it forward up to the halfway line. Sarver tripped up on the halfway line. Referee waves for play to continue. It's quickly forward to Gonzalez and wide on this right side for Richie Ledesma of Chivas. They'll move it through the middle of the Dallas half, now across to the opposite side. Brian Gonzalez playing it back into midfield for Govea, hounded by Kaik. And he passes back to Romo in the center circle, who will return it all the way to Rangel. good energy from Dallas coming off a short rest on Wednesday in Mansfield. They're forcing Chivas, for the most part, backwards with their running and pressure.
Maybe when you step out on the field and it's only 80 degrees, maybe it's sort of energizing as you've been training in 90s and 100 degrees.
Chivas possession at the halfway line. Gonzalez keeps it moving now to the right of the center circle. Romo, who's the central center back, but he's adventurous coming forward with the ball. Campillo working with Ledesma now wide on the right side for Chivas. Nice ball bending in. Ibeagha heads it away. Now at the top of the box. Follow-up volley is well dealt with there. Sarver putting him off and allowing a teammate to clear their lines.
Oh, would it surprise you if I said the possession was already at 74%?
It would not, based on not only what we've seen, but what we've come to expect from both teams.
And we know Eric Quill, he's told us often enough, you don't want to just sit back and suffer the whole game. So that's why they are pressing up a little high, which is nice.
Runhell has it on the top of the box. They try and work it through the defensive third, and they do find a nice ball forward to the halfway line. Switching the point of attack now forward towards the left side. It's Gonzalez into the area, and Shaq Moore with some important defending there, wins it back and quickly finds Sarver, who will bring it forward on the dribble. Sarver wanted to knock it beyond the defender and run, but it was well cut out there. Although Chivas unable to keep hold of it, Johansson winning it back and now bringing it past halfway. Chipped ball up towards Kamungo is going to be nodded back to Rangel.
Well, I feel like what we saw a minute ago was a lot of what I've seen from Chivas and talking about how their performance isn't creating results. Yeah, they play through the press, good transition attack, feed a nice ball into the penalty area, and then they don't even get a shot out of it.
And the question, I think, from the tactical standpoint for Dallas is, can they play this way for an entire game? Can they play this way for an entire half where they have such little possession and are doing so much running off the ball, including here as they put the pressure higher up the field and force Chivas all the way back to Rangel.
We've seen it twice now. Rangel's starting positions as a goalkeeper are so aggressive that even when you do go over the top, he's playing that sweeper keeper back there to interrupt it.
Nice work there from Nolan Norris to win it back. Quickly fired forward to Valiente, who finds Ramiro with time and space. Over to his right for Kayik, who's closed down. Gets it ahead to Sarver and wide for Johansson. Dallas now well into the attacking half, wide with Herman Johansson. Played backwards for Kayik. And into the middle, Ramiro, who returns it to him. And the boos rang down for some rare Dallas possession. Kayik and Sarver looking to combine. Eventually ends up out for a Dallas throw. Fired forward towards Musa, holding the defender on his back. Tries to stab it back to Johansson, who's just about able to keep it in play, but he turns it over. And now he's able to poke it out of play for a Chivas throw. Mexican side wanted the free kick. That wasn't given. The referee has definitely had a high standard to give a free kick in these opening 15 minutes.
Just ask Sam Sarver.
It was Armando Gonzalez who wanted the free kick, the young striker. Prolific last season, yet to get off the mark as the season resumes in Mexico a few weeks ago now. It's been all about Piojo Alvarado, who scored in 3 straight games in Liga MX and in Leagues Cup. Chivas in the middle of the Dallas half, along the ground out towards the near side. Ledesma 1v1 with Kamungo. Kamungo that time locks him up and comes away with the ball. Heavy touch though, showed too much of it to the defender. Chivas win it back. It was a nice sliding tackle from Govea. And Angel Sepulveda is out there somewhere for Chivas. I just haven't called his name yet because I can't quite spot him. The veteran striker is amongst the attacking group. As Chivas work it backwards in their own half all the way to Rangel. Rangel composed on the ball, rolls it forward into midfield, and now will be brought past the halfway line on the near side by Campillo. Dallas have to deal with the psychological warfare that is the Olays. Shouted with every completed pass here. Nice move on the far sideline, and Johansson got a little handsy there, and I think he's going to be fortunate to escape a yellow card as he was beaten by Brian Gonzalez for pace along the sideline. And it will be a Chivas free kick in the wide area on the far side. Alvarado Gouveia standing over this one. Referee instructing them exactly on which blade of grass to place the ball. And now we're set to restart play. Dallas with a two-man wall just outside the 18. And the line set around the penalty spot. Sirois fortunately not dealing with the sun on this occasion as it's whipped in off the right foot towards the near post, flicked along over everybody's head, out towards the near side where Kayik is going to come away with it, but the offside flag goes up. So Dallas will restart play here in the 19th minute. You have to say, all things considered, despite having very little in terms of possession, it's a decent start to the game for Dallas, energetic and well-structured.
Yeah, considering how much, as you said, Chivas has had the ball, nothing really to bother Sirois so far.
Launched long up towards Musa, flicks off the top of his head. Valiente gives chase. It's worked back to Rangel, who will send it long up to the halfway line. Ibiaga dueling there with Gonzalez. It breaks for Alvarado, and now Chivas bring it through the center circle. Gouveia out to the far side. Onto the right foot, a bending ball in towards the back post, and it's over everybody's head, out for another goal kick. And Piojo Alvarado still slow to get up. He's prone on the halfway line, holding the back of his heel where Ibiaga made contact. Or Ramiro, sorry, stepped on him.
It was Bernie Camungo that ended up getting him.
That wasn't the incident I thought that it was. But he's back up to his feet now. 73 caps for Mexico, the longtime international. Started the season on fire. Sirois launches it long. Out towards the right side. Musa's header goes back to the halfway line. It's a scrap for the loose ball there. And it's volleyed all the way back to Sirois, who receives it just outside the 18 and hits the long ball out to the right side. Nobody making the run. And Rangel will recover possession.
Sirois able to keep that in play at least. He really had a little bit of an issue the other day. All the good things he did defending, his distribution just wasn't very good, and he sent 3 or 4 balls just directly out of bounds.
Possession along the back line for Chivas, 15 yards from halfway. As we've played 20 minutes, Musa now stepping up on the press. Chivas working it up the near side. Ibiaga recovering, wins it back. It's the ball back to Sirois, was bouncing awkwardly, and he skies it up towards the halfway line. Musa, first touch down for Camungo, who hits the ball in behind, looking for the run as Sarver. Sarver takes it on the chest, moving wide to the near sideline. Valiente makes the run in behind, wide to the 18, low cross in towards Musa. Loose touch there from Chivas as Musa sets it up for Johansson on the right side. It's Herman Johansson's shot, blocked up in the air. It's headed towards Musa, but it's headed away. Now it's at the top of the box. Kayike flicks it up in the air, goes for the bicycle kick attempt, and it'll bounce through for Rangel. Best chance of the game for Dallas, and now there's appeals for a handball or a foul of some kind inside the area. Kayik and Ramiro both furious with the referee.
Well, they can be furious, but Herman Johansson, my man, you've got to just have a hit there. I mean, the ball comes in from the left side. Peter Musa finds it at his feet, but he's turned the wrong way, so he correctly judges the best option is to pass out to the right to Herman Johansson, but he took 2 or 3 touches before he finally got a shot off, and by then it was stuffed.
Johansson hit the crossbar Mansfield on Wednesday, still looking for his first goal for the club. That's the best chance of the game so far, really for either side. As Luis Romo moves it forward through the middle of the field up towards Gonzalez. It's well worked away from him by Dallas. Loose ball. Sarver contesting it near halfway. Chivas maintain possession. Gonzalez and Luis Romo, the central defensive midfielder and the central defender, always switching positions. It's given away here. It was scooped up towards Sarver. Acrobatics there to keep it away from him by Miguel Gomez. Norris quickly playing forward out towards Kamungo as it broke to him at the halfway line, but he overhits it and it runs behind for a goal kick.
Dallas doing a good job, I think, of recognizing early balls over the top as the way to go. And, you know, you really only need one mistake. A minute ago, I couldn't pick out which defender it was for Chivas, but he had to do some kind of weird acrobatic play just to keep the ball from going through, and it would have been 2-on-1 for FC Dallas if that had gone through.
Now it's lifted over the top by Chivas, and it's brought down, but it's a good recovery from Nolan Norris. Flag never went up. As Sirwal launches it long, it bounces kindly to Chivas, and they'll have possession here in the 23rd. Chivas have shown a variety of different ways to try and get forward. Here they play it along the ground through the middle. Turning, Alvarado plays it out to the Chivas left. Now it's Gomez bringing it forward, dropped off wide for Gonzalez. Set back in the midfield for Gouveia, who bends a right-footed ball in, and it's towards the back post. Sirwal watched it all the way behind for a goal kick. Intended there for Sepulveda. May have got a touch on it as well.
Oddly enough, even though it really wasn't a shot, that was sort of suspiciously looking like Chivas' best chance so far.
And Sepulveda with the flick, and Gonzalez was waiting at the back post as well. Sirwal sends it long up towards Musa. It's allowed to bounce, fight for the loose ball. Falls to the foot of Gonzalez. Ledesma pursued by Valiente, who got a big piece of the ball. And now Ramiro is able to win the ball back and get a throw in here high up the field on the Dallas left. Kamungo getting the countdown from the referee. And they're going to have to go quickly as Ebiaga's come across to take it. And launches it up towards Peter Musa. Header one there for Chivas, and it's cleared away. Kayik brings it down in the middle. Quickly ahead to Johansson. In behind for Valiente. Brings it down now onto his left foot. Sets it back for Kayik, who shots over the bar. Really nice, quick build up there along the Dallas right. And Valiente's form from Wednesday looks to continue tonight as he sets up Kayik for a good look.
Yeah, and there's a good little entry ball played over the top, little lofted ball from in close by Herman Johansson. They got all that going.
Chivas in possession following the goal kick as we play in the 25th minute. And the referee again not giving an easy free kick. This time Chivas wanting it on the far side. It's out to Sarver, quickly into the middle for Musa. Musa volleys it, juggling it over the defender's head, but loses out as another helping defender comes across.
Again, that was a good entry ball from Herman Johansson. Just zipped it into Peter Musa from about 30 yards.
Nice composure for Omar Gouveia, who brings it forward through midfield and past the halfway line. Gonzalez working in the wide areas on the far side for Chivas. And now swinging across to the near side. Campillo. Further wide for Ledesma, who plays it back into midfield. Chivas moving the ball from right to left, back out to the far side, 40 yards from goal. They'll recycle once again as Dallas have everybody back here. Gouveia scoops the ball up over the top, out towards the near side. Ledesma brings it down, hooks a right-footed ball in, over the head of the forward, brought down at the back post, shot blocked by Johansson. And the follow-up is blazed over the bar by Gonzalez.
Mentioned a while ago how important the Dallas wingbacks were going to be tonight. I think they've both done a good job of tracking back. It's only been in the last 5 to 8 minutes that we've seen Herman Johansson sort of getting a little bit further forward. Bernie Kamungo has played a couple of nice balls into the final third, but he really hasn't gotten himself advanced up the left side just yet.
Sirwal's goal kick this time headed left of center. Loose ball contested near the halfway line. It's controlled by Chivas. Played out towards the near side. Ledesma receives it on the halfway line and plays it backwards. Govea lifts it over the top out towards the right side. Ball hanging up in the air. Kamungo coming back and wins it defensively as there's a collision with the Chivas player. Bernie comes away with it, plays it up the near sideline. Musa battling there with Romo, who comes away with it. And they'll go back and check on the Chivas player. It was a heavy collision. Seems like you have to draw blood to get a foul tonight. It's Ledesma who's down.
I mentioned the other day that in Leagues Cup, you don't get the cheap fouls. You just don't get the cheap calls. You know, I think Bernie Kamungo.
I'm not saying that I disagreed with any of the decisions, but it is a stark contrast to your point.
But I like it. I like it a lot, and you know, I think players have to adjust to it. I mean, it was two players going for a ball. It's a contact sport. I think eventually the referee does the right thing by blowing the whistle because there might be a head injury, but it's not a foul.
And it works well for Dallas just to get a second to catch their breath, grab some water, regroup. In the 28th minute, I don't believe there's going to be a hydration break tonight with temperatures in the high 70s.
This is your hydration break now.
But right around when it would usually take place, it's worked out. The refereeing crew from Costa Rica tonight. Josue Ugalde, the man in the middle. As Ledesma's up to his feet, and he's protesting towards anybody who's wearing the neon yellow of the refereeing crew.
I believe he's a FIFA level referee, so that's going to be quality.
We'll restart play with a drop ball at the foot of Luis Romo. And Ledesma still off the field. Chivas temporarily playing with 10. Played back to Rangel, the goalkeeper. Dallas putting the pressure on. They've got the momentary man advantage. Chivas will lift it up towards the halfway line. Flicked in behind for the run of Gonzalez. Shakmore, good covering work. Gets it back for Sirois.
Yeah, Shakmore got the angles exactly right. Chivas does a great job of playing through the press, playing over the press. I'm telling you, against LAFC and tonight, I mean, they're a really good team with the ball.
Today they are Chivas playing in USA.
Thank you, Ryan. I don't need your help, buddy. Just let me make my mistakes.
I'm just happy not to carry that baggage into tonight. I never called a game for Chivas USA. Turnover in midfield. Kayik finds Valiente. Ramiro picked his pocket from behind, and Chivas now bring it forward up the right side. Ledesma still off the field, I believe, as he had to undergo the head injury protocol. He's now allowed back in as Chivas have it in the center circle, and we've played half an hour.
Shots right now 5-2 in favor of Chivas. No shots on target registered for either team.
Campillo over to Romo, who's got it now in the center circle. His pass was deflected by Kayik, but breaks back Chivas' way, and now they play it out wide towards the near side. Ledesma 1v1 with Kamungo. Fakes the cross and now moves infield on the dribble. Fires it in towards a teammate. It knocks off that teammate, and it's cleared away. Not sure that was where the pass was intended. If it was severely overcooked. Possession with Rangel back in the Chivas end.
As Chivas moves the ball into the middle third, middle part of the field, Dallas doing a really good job of just staying really compact in there. Now making it easy to combine out in that zone 14.
Govea from just into the Dallas half. He's going to swing it along the halfway line across to Campillo. And wide for Ledesma. Had some brief spells in MLS, including a loan year with New York City FC. And he's found a home now south of the border. Gonzalez hounded by Sam Sarver in possession on the far sideline, forced backwards to the halfway line. Now fired forward into the middle of the Dallas half and set wide for Ledesma. Good work from Alvarado to avoid some pressure. Chivas keep hold of it. Nice Deflection there from Ramiro, and it turns over. Kayik from the base of the center circles, closed down and loses possession. And Johansson made his way up the field, so he's out of position as Chivas work it to that far side. It's a left-footed ball that's blazed way over the bar. A really poor effort out across there. And Dallas let off the hook by Piojo Alvarado.
Kayike doing the work, as always, covering the ground, doing the defensive work, but again tonight, just not the best with the ball.
Sirois out towards Johansson this time, who flicks it up the near sideline, sorry, the far sideline. Chivas recover possession, work it back to Rangel, who's closed down, finds Romo at the top of the box, under some pressure from Valiente, and he just lifts it out of play on that far sideline. Usually unflappable in the build out. Luis Romo turns it over there.
It's probably the right decision by him, though.
Johansson gets it back after he takes the throw, and it's Ramiro's cross now over the head of Musa, flicked out towards the top of the box on the near side where Kamungo recovers possession. 1v1 on the near corner of the 18. Has the defender on his back. Needs to find some help here. Kamungo now with 3 around him. Gets it wide for Norris. Finds the ball back in the midfield for Kayik. Switching the point of attack to Shaq Moore, who makes his way forward here on the far side. Right-footed ball in. Allowed to bounce inside the area, and it breaks for Rangel kindly. Petter Musa is beside himself about something. I'm not sure.
Me either.
If he was looking towards the referee or towards one of his teammates. He wasn't inside the 18 when that really good cross from Shaq Moore came in. Now going the other way, Chivas lifted in behind. Sirois is out off his line and plays it calmly ahead to Valiente wide on the Dallas left, deep in their own half. Valiente shirt tugged away, and it'll be a free kick.
Valiente looked into the middle to find a target, and there was a huge gap in there. Ramiro hadn't recovered his positioning. Just nobody was there to play into, and so we got bailed out by a kind of cheap foul that I said that neither team is getting right now. So Dallas got a little lucky there.
Shaq and Herman working in on the far sideline, shy of the halfway line, up to Sarver, who does well to hold off the defender, and now Johansson brings it infield on the dribble, into the center circle, now all the way through to the left center channel. Played in behind for the run of Kamungo, into the area. Kamungo, low cross, sent in, and swept behind, and it'll run out for a throw-in on the near side. Luis Romo, good defensive work there, as Dallas found a way through the pressure, and Johansson put a nice through ball in for Bernie Kamungo.
Well, it's wing back to wing back. Herman Johansson doing a great job of taking the ball all the way over from the right side, dribbling through the middle, plays a really swell ball into Bernie Kamungo.
Ebiaga's long throw finds Nolan Norris, who directs it towards the top corner, but it ends up just over the bar. Really good throw in, and the header not too bad either, but ends up just inches high.
I mean, that's terrible defending from Chivas, and right now Dallas, I think, starting to ask some questions to that back line.
10 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Chivas restart with the goal kick and try to launch it long up the near side, but it cannons off the back of Bernie Kamungo. Ledesma now under pressure deep in his own end will scoop it up towards the halfway line. Norris wins the header. And it's sent back towards the Dallas back line. Shackmore taking it down on the chest, lifting it up high towards the Chivas back line, who will bring it under their control. Luis Romo playing it out towards this near side for Campillo. Ledesma looking to hit the switch into the center circle. Really nice first touch there for Piojo. He plays it wide to the left side. Into the attacking third now for Chivas. Right-footed bending ball in, flicked by Ebiaga, out for a corner. If there's one criticism of this Dallas performance in the first half, maybe just a little bit too slow to recover in these types of situations, as Chivas have done a good job of flooding the box. They had 4 inside the area there. As Alvarado now sets up for a corner kick from the near side corner flag.
All the possession, Dallas has done such a good job defending. This is only Chivas' first corner.
Taken short, and then they'll lift it in now towards the back post, headed by Chivas, out of play. They tried to spring a quick 2v1 in the corner, didn't come to anything as it was lifted towards Armando Gonzalez, who heads it out for Jonathan Sirois to restart play.
You'd still like to see Dallas with a few more touches inside the opposition penalty area, but the defending tonight has been really, really good, I think.
Canadian launches it long. The defender going up on the back of Musa, who's then called for the foul for backing in. That was Brian Gonzalez. Fortunately, Musa was able to support his weight on his back, and there was no awkward fall. Possession along the back line in the Chivas half. They'll play backwards to Rangel. Back out towards the near side for Campillo. No save so far for Rangel. Plenty to do with the ball at his feet as it's lifted in behind and spins all the way through for Sirois. Shackmore in for Uragide from the start today. Plays it up to the halfway line. Sarver runs into a defender there. Possession back with Chivas into the Dallas end. Played forward. Kayik stepping out of the midfield to try put pressure on. And work it up the near sideline. Ledesma infield for Alvarado. Set back now. Govea from the right center channel switches it over to the left. Now he's got it back once again in the middle of the Dallas attacking half. Lines up a shot from distance up and over the bar. Sirois not bothered by that one.
I think if you're Dallas, if you've reduced Chivas to shots from 30, 32 yards, I think you're feeling okay about things.
And Sirois will once again restart play with a goal kick, this time from the left. He looks up towards Musa, bounces over the head of the Dallas forward. Valiente will give chase, and that pressure is rewarded as Chivas lifted out of play for a Dallas throw.
Valiente's engine just seems limitless, doesn't it?
With the distance on Wednesday, and he's looked as fresh as ever tonight. He's just worked back to Rangel under some pressure. He's going to send it clear. Norris's header back towards the top of the box. Kayik's challenging for it, trying to keep it in play, and he's able to do so, preventing the goal kick and now making a nuisance of himself high up the field here. Chivas still in possession, and eventually it's deflected out. It'll be a Dallas throw, still deep in the Chivas end.
You kind of got to admire Chivas' stubbornness, though. Of they're going to play out of pressure no matter what.
Kayik is at his best in those types of situations when he can go hunting in the press. Throwing is long. It's over the head of Norris, but it bounces kindly. And Shackmore will now lift it forward. Up towards Musa. Nice touchdown for Sarver. Sarver trying to return it to Musa in behind the defender. One man to beat. Better Musa trying to fight his way now through two. And Chivas win it back. Romo will lift it clear. Romo's just about been able to neutralize Musa inside the area so far, as that's a battle of two players who shown at this summer's World Cup.
It's been a great battle. At that time, he needed help. Needed help from Gonzalez.
I don't think we've seen Petter Musa this active in the press. Maybe in the playoffs last year, as Norris lifts this one up towards Sarver. And Chivas win it back as Brian Gonzalez did some good running for the Mexican side. I don't think there can be any questioning the motivation. Obviously a different competition, a newer competition without the pedigree of some others. That has to come over time. And clearly, though, Dallas, not just with the lineup picked, but with the effort expended in this first half, are taking this thing seriously. They want to go to Toluca on Wednesday still in the fight.
I just really think that win the other day, it gives you such a good feeling that now you can go out here, go out to San Jose. It's a long trip up there, but you can go up there thinking that we can still do something in this tournament.
Chivas lifted up to the halfway line, and it's out of the reach of Sepulveda. Well, Norris making a little bit of a mess of it, but fortunately it bounces back through for Sirois.
Yeah, he's tried to play a little pass over to Ibeagha, and he just sort of short-armed it, so to speak.
Kayik up to the halfway line. Sarver sets it down for Valiente, who puts it in behind. Sarver goes down, up against Gonzalez. And there's another one that Sam Sarver does not get from the referee.
And Sarver's just got to figure out he's just got to work a little harder to keep his feet. He's just not going to get those calls tonight, so you may as well try to work your way through it, fight for the ball, fight for the space. You might get it.
Chivas played through that first line of pressure, but it's up to the halfway line where Shackmore is able to repel it backwards, and now it's lifted out of play for a Dallas throw. 3 minutes plus stoppage time from the break. Neither side you feel like should be decidedly in front, but both teams have had chances. Dallas probably with the better chances, despite a large advantage in possession for the Mexican side. Dallas will have another throw in this time 10 yards further up the far sideline.
I still think the best real chance was the Johansson shot that he didn't take.
In towards Musa, bounces over his head, and Rangel will pick it up.
It's been a low event half, but what events that have happened over the last 10 minutes have been more for Dallas.
Alvarado making his way up the near side. Chivas with even numbers in this attack as it's whipped in low along the ground and arriving at the back post. The shot pulled wide. Dallas led off there by Miguel Gomez. The left wingback should have scored. It was Luis Romo's cross, not who he intended to find, but it deflected off of Ibeaga perfectly into the path of Gomez.
Yeah, I give Herman Johansson some credit too, because he got himself in the right spot and sort of laid out a little bit, sort of a half layout. I think it put the shot off just a little bit.
Up towards Musa, who's dealing with pressure from behind, and the player who was challenging for him is slow to get up, but play continues. Sarver got a piece of the ball, directing it into the middle, looking for Valiente. It turns over to Chivas. Work it back to Rangel. Thought Brian Gonzalez would play as the wingback and Gomez as the left center back. Those two are swapped from where they played against LAFC. And it broke for the best chance of the game there for Gomez as Rangel under some pressure inside the 6. Chivas playing out towards the near side. And up to the halfway line where it finds Gonzalez. And now Alvarado brings it forward into the final minute of 45. Bearing down on the top of the box. Slipped in behind for Gonzalez, whose shot is not caught clean. It's caught by Sirois.
Twice in the last 2 minutes, Chivas puts themselves in really good shooting positions and just kind of make hash out of it.
Norris under pressure, and Dallas wilting here in the final minutes of the first half. It's at the top of the box now. Ramiro defending against Alvarado. Chivas putting the pressure on with 30 seconds plus stoppage time to play. Back out to the near side. Whipped in, and it came last off of Alvarado, and there's a reprieve. It'll be a Dallas goal kick as the cross cannons off of a teammate.
72% on the possession now for Chivas. 7 shots to 3.
I mean, visually, it looks like some of the Dallas players just hit a physical wall about a minute ago. And unfortunately, there's only 1 minute of first half stoppage time to play for them to navigate here and get into the break to rest up for the second half, as this time Sirois' service is straight out of play. From within earshot of Eric Quill in his technical area, down to the left. Norris winning it back. No, the referee with a late call there for a free kick for Chivas just into the Dallas half. Sepulveda, the player, fouled.
Yeah, not a lot of times that we talked about the fouls, how there was a high bar for them. Dallas whistled 5 times, Chivas twice so far.
They'll play it short. Possession in the center circle with 10 seconds to play. Wide with Gomez. Whips a left-footed ball in low. Flicks off the head of Shackmore. It's cleared away by Valiente. Ramiro is dragged down from behind by Alvarado, and that should just about do it for the first half action. Whistle sounds from our referee, Josue Ugalde. And Dallas resolute in the first half. Take it scoreless into the break. Steve, how do you summarize the action so far at PayPal Park?
A little bit like what we saw the other day at LAFC. Chivas really good with the ball, but not turning it into scoring a high volume of scoring chances. But a lot of that is because Dallas doing a really good organized job of defending.
Well, they've got 45 minutes down and still plenty of fight left to go. But first we'll step aside for a break, and we'll be back with halftime coverage as you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
After 45 plus at PayPal Park, it's FC Dallas and Chivas de Guadalajara at honors even, no goals yet, in match 2 of FC Dallas's 2026 Leagues Cup campaign. Hello everybody, it is the FC Dallas Halftime Show, brought to you tonight by our local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you this evening by Advocare, building champions together. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in a few moments by the voices of tonight's contest, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. But let's go first to your halftime stats. Those are brought to you tonight by UMB Bank. Possession goes the way of the technical visitors, Chivas 72-28. 8 shots for the Three Stripes, only 3 shots so far for Dallas. Out of those 11 shots, only 1 came on target, and that went to Chivas. You've had 1 corner for Chivas, none for FCD. You've had 1 save for Jonathan Serrois, none so far for Raul Rangel. 6 fouls for Dallas, 3 for Chivas, and yet no yellow cards handed out as of yet by referee Josué Ugalde. Now let's bring in our voices of tonight's contest, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. And Ryan, I'm going to present kind of a two-sided question here, and I'm going to start with you. The first side of it, I think through 46 minutes, this is about as well as we could have reasonably expected FC Dallas to play, knowing that they are coming up against a very good Chivas side.
Yeah, I think actually this is exactly how we expected it to play out, right? Dallas has had a couple of matchups since the World Cup break against heavy possession teams, with San Diego the most notable, where they really didn't offer much going the other way, and they just allowed themselves to get pushed back further and further, and they did not do that in this first half against Chivas. And I think they did an admirable job of understanding that if they can't have the ball, they can still step out and press, and they can still make life difficult in the Chivas end. So not comfortable at all for the Mexican side in this one. They end up with the best chance in the final moments of that first half when it looked like Dallas just kind of ran out of gas. But overall, on the run of play, I think Dallas will be happy going into the break with what they were able to do.
And I think you make a really good point, Ryan, that I think by pressing when they did and just trying to work as much as they could into the opposition half, I think there was a spell there for about 10 minutes where I think they had Chivas a little bit on the back foot.
Meanwhile, Steve, the other half of that kind of conundrum is FC Dallas, I think, tonight looks in some ways like a good MLS team, and I kind of mean that a little derogatorily in the sense of we've seen them get back a little bit slow. We've seen them take a couple extra touches they probably shouldn't, put a little extra or a little underset on the ball. We've seen that where Chivas is just maybe a little bit more technical, a little bit more prepared. Dallas is coming up just a little bit short in certain areas.
Yeah, Sam, I would say that Chivas pressing is really good. And that has a lot to do with that. The counter press is really good. That has a lot to do with it as well. So let's give them some credit as well. And it's also just I don't know. You say that they've gotten back slow a couple of times. I think maybe once, maybe on the right side, Herman Johansson got caught up a little high. But honestly, once Chivas breaks that press, and I've talked about how once they break the press, they know how to go vertical from there. They're really good at playing out of the back, and playing out of the back isn't just breaking the press. It's then recognizing, okay, now you can really go because we've just eliminated 5 defenders. So, MLS is what it is, but I still think Dallas is doing okay.
Oh, yeah, this is not to say that Dallas isn't hanging tough. I mean, you kept Chivas to 0-0. You should be proud of what you did. And, in fact, Ryan, you can argue there's a couple times that maybe Dallas should have even been up a goal because you saw Herman Johansson in the box. If he doesn't take that extra touch and decides just whips it in, Kaique leans back on a shot that he probably should lean forward on. I mean, Dallas had their opportunities. There's just small little moments there that missed execution.
Yeah, three good shot opportunities. You also had Nolan Norris with a near post header on a long throw in. And then one where I would love to see a replay on what happened, because Dallas, I think the only time where they really got into their attacking shape, and that included getting Shaq Moore and Nolan Norris as the wide center backs further forward. Shaq puts a really good ball. It bounces inside the 6. And Petar Musa's not inside the box, and that is very unlike him. He's not the type to just be a little bit lazy. He wants to be in there where the goals are scored. And as the camera pans back, he's yelling towards the referee. I wonder if he got blocked off or pulled back from behind to where he couldn't be in the area for that exact play, because Dallas had broken the pressure. They had combined well. And so they had 4, maybe 5 really bright attacking moments, and if you replicate that in the second half, I think you'll find the back of the net, whether it's Musa, whether it's Sarver. What you really need is for one of those chances to fall at the feet of Petar Musa.
And, the other thing that they are doing, they're trying to find Sam Sarver in behind, which we thought that they might do, and I wouldn't say they've gotten close, but they've gotten almost close, if that makes any sense at all. And so you see a little bit of the danger element there. It's not like they've got the Chivas defenders really scrambling, especially with Rangel playing so high up behind them. But there are 2 or 3 times when you're looking at it saying, just one little misplay there by the Chivas Guadalajara defenders, and Sam Sarver is off and running.
And I think to your point, Ryan, there on the Musa situation, they showed Eric Quill about 60 seconds later on the telecast having a strong conversation with the 4th official. So I think whatever Petar Musa saw, Eric Quill saw as well, was lobbying for. And, we talk a little bit about individuals before we look at the second half, Steve. One guy that has stood out to me, who also stood out on Wednesday, was Joaquin Valiente. The guy plays the entire half, scores a goal, gets an assist, just looks like a mean green pressing machine wearing out there, in red and blue on Wednesday. Well, tonight you think, well, maybe he's going to slow down a little bit because he's played so much. No, he's out there doing the exact same thing, and he is showing a lot of quality in this Leagues Cup campaign so far.
Man, the guy's got a tank, doesn't he?
He sure does.
It just looks limitless. But that does take me, I'll take you into talking about the second half, because it does make me wonder how far can that go. And you'd like to think it can go, but at some point I just don't think he's going to be able to sustain that, especially coming off of what we saw the other night, a lot of energy poured out there in the win over Querétaro and Mansfield. Then you add the travel into it, and then Ramiro. He's organizing it all. I mentioned a while ago that he's keeping everything, and the defenders too, keeping everything really nice and compact. They recognize that yes, those balls they get those wing backs out up high and wide, but what they really want to do is occupy defenders out there so they can then combine through the middle. And I think Dallas, Ramiro in particular, is keeping everything really nice and tight in there. Once they get that line of 5 and then the line of 4 ahead of them in the midfield, there are times when that line of 4 in the midfield there's only 20 yards between all of them, and that's really nice and compact. So, but how far can Ramiro go? So that's going to be a big question that we'll be talking about during the second half.
Well, let's begin that conversation, Ryan, as we've got a few minutes here. Dallas does have an expanded bench tonight thanks to the Leagues Cup regulations, letting you have a little bit more in reserve, but you still only get 5 subs. Based on what you saw from Dallas and Chivas in that first half, who would you look towards on the FC Dallas reserves to make a difference tonight?
Yeah, Santi Moreno coming off a goal on Wednesday. I think he'll have a part to play. And Logan Farrington's got to be itching to get into the game as well. He didn't play at all on Wednesday. He's fresh. And he can live for a game like this where there's a little bit more of an edge to it, a little more intensity, and maybe the need for somebody who can lean into the dark arts a little bit. So, that in addition to the need to score, as it stands, Dallas is currently 4th with 4 points, but there's still plenty of teams to play. So realistically, knowing how difficult the task is going to be at Toluca on Wednesday, they need 3 points tonight, and really only that will do. If they come away with a point or two, it's not dead going into Wednesday, but that is probably on paper the toughest game in club history, in terms of venue, in terms of opponent. So going into that with 6 points in momentum, I think is huge. So I'm looking towards the guys that can score a goal, and the other thing to consider is the third tiebreaker after goal differential is goals scored as opposed to goals conceded, which Dallas has yet to concede so far. So they need to get goals. It's better to win 3-2 than it is to win 1-0 in this game.
Maybe I'll Steve on the other end, kind of looking at a almost an ideal scenario. Let's say Dallas is up 1, or maybe even they've got a draw heading towards a penalty. You've got Osaze Urquidy sitting right there, and there's probably no better defender on Dallas, maybe Shaq Moore. Do you think about going, okay, if it's the 75th, 80th minute, we either up a goal or we're tied trying to get to a shootout, do you think let's go put our best defender on the field and just try to get to that penalty situation?
Yeah, sure you do. But honestly, right now, like I keep saying, the defenders are doing a great job back there. I think Ibiaga still looks fresh. Nolan Norris is doing his thing. Just looking at some highlights there, I mean, Shaq Moore got his positioning really just so on a couple of occasions to snuff out some danger. So, adding him in there would be fine. Maybe the play would be add him in and then put Shaq Moore out on the right side and give Herman Johansson just a little bit of a rest.
I think it's just going to be tough, knowing that there's going to be fitness concerns for people like Ramiro. I think those are going to be they're going to build their subs and their plan for that around those guys and knowing their minutes limits. And I think in a game where you're pressing high and the structure is so important, it's just going to be tough for anybody to come in and immediately get up to the speed of the game and understand the assignment. So I think the longer you can ride with the team that started this game that's doing so well, I think the better.
I would agree with that. Go ahead, Steve.
We're saying also that I always like to mention this every now and then at least. The job that Sarver and Valiente are being asked to do with the ball, they're asked to move up and basically be on our forward line and then go press. Now, as the game moves into Dallas's end, they're asked to widen out and be midfielders, on either right or left side. That's a lot of work. So, to Ryan's point, I think that's where we'll probably see the subs more than maybe a Urquidy.
Meanwhile, if you just want kind of an obscure theory, Dallas does have Nick Simmons and Alvaro Augusto on their bench. If you're just looking for pure size and you're chasing a goal, there's a chance if you're just trying to lob crosses in and get big bodies, those are two of the biggest bodies Dallas has. I hope that's not the case because I'd rather see Dallas control the match, but you never know. Desperate times, desperate measures, et cetera, et cetera. But that's going to do it for the halftime show. We will take a break, and when we come back, Ryan and Steve will get you ready for the second half of action from San Jose. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
Want to hear something incredible?
The treatments are over, the infusions are done. Now you can get back to all the kid fun. We'll miss you lots, but you'll be happy to know chemo is over, so it's time to go.
At Children's Health, we're making groundbreaking advancements in cancer treatments every day to bring more healing and more hope to families. Innovative treatments filled with hope. That's incredible together. Learn more at childrens.com.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
about set for the second half of action out in San Jose after a scoreless first 45 between FC Dallas and Chivas de Guadalajara. It looks like changes at halftime for both sides as we're awaiting the fourth officials board. Sam Sarver has taken a seat on the bench. He'll be replaced by Santi Moreno, fresh off of his goal on Wednesday. The Dallas number 10 is into the match. Christian Kappas is also up and ready. He'll replace Ramiro, who on his return from injury goes 45 minutes from the start tonight. On the other side, we're seeing Efrain Alvarez ready to enter this game for Chivas. So 3 total changes between the two teams after a first half which resembled a chess match played at a very high intensity, Steve.
Yeah, it did. So it's good to see Christian Kappas get in there, see what he can do. Although I do think that they're going to miss Ramiro's ability to organize, but Kappas is a good organizer himself.
Still waiting the fourth official's indication of who Alvarez will replace. The Chivas number 10, who played over 100 times in MLS for LA Galaxy.
I'm guessing it's the guy whose name you didn't call very much, Angel Sepulveda, but we'll see.
It'll be Dallas's kickoff as we restart play. They're in their white kits with red accents along the side and back. Chivas in their famous red and white vertical stripes will move from right to left as Musa drops it back to Sirois, and we're back underway in San Jose.
And the sun has mercifully disappeared, so it might be just a little bit easier to pick out some players on that far side.
And Herman Johansson was just run off the field. The free kick has been given as Efrain Alvarez, the recent substitute. It was completely out of our picture, and Johansson ended up hunched over off the field as it was launched in his direction. Santi Moreno and Joaquin Valiente behind Pedro Musa. This was the combination against Querétaro on Wednesday. Efrain Alvarez taking his time and stepping away, allowing the defense to get set here. It's going to be Santi Moreno from just into the Chivas half. Wide on the Dallas right. Whipped in towards the top of the box, headed away, didn't have enough air underneath that one. Breaks back to Valiente, and now Bernard Camungo lifts it forward up towards Johansson, pinballing around at the top of the box. Valiente recovers possession, right center channel, moving backwards, and now out wide to the right. Kaique receives it. Flick back to Moreno, who darts infield off the near sideline. Into Kaique inside the area, opens up for the pit bull. Nice sliding block from Romo. Terrific defending as Kaique found himself with plenty of time and space inside the area. It's going to be a corner.
Shame Kaique couldn't make a little bit more out of that because it's a really good ball played in by Moreno and a really good take from Kaique, who takes it on his right foot and just immediately eliminates one defender.
I mean, that is
Romo.
terrific defending. And it's not the first time already tonight as it's whipped in by Valiente towards Ibeaga, headed up in the air. It's still bouncing inside the area, and the clearance is blocked by Kaique. Still fighting forward along the near side of the 18. Spins wide for Alvarez, who lifts it down the line. Moreno recovers possession. Early cross sent in by Santi right at the goalkeeper. And a hand up there for some poor service.
Yeah, he had Ibeaga still up there and also Musa to aim at, and just didn't hit it right.
Nice start, opening 2 minutes of the second half for the Hoops. Possession now back with Chivas at the top of the 18. Musa chasing all the way in to Rangel, who lifts it over his head out towards Romo. Romo going to have to collect this one, closed down by Moreno, and he hammers it clear up the far sideline.
And Rangel is really good with his feet. There's a reason he's Mexico's number 1.
Lifted up towards Gonzalez, headed away from him by Nolan Norris. Dallas trying to keep possession along the far sideline. Chivas split the pressure and now work it towards the other way. Alvarado, his pass under hit, and Johansson steps in the way, knocks it out for a throw. And at the halfway line, possession with Chivas. Ruben Gonzalez will swing it along here through the back line. Luis Romo lifts it in the air out towards the far side. At the far corner of the 18, it slipped in behind. On the turn, fired towards goal. Sirois makes the big save, and Johansson clears it away. It will be a corner kick just about. He tried to play it for a throw-in, but it spins wrong side of the flag. Big save for Sirois.
Yeah, again, once they beat that initial press, they're really good at playing the transition from there.
And Johansson was on hand to sweep that one clear. Chivas setting up the corner kick from the far flag. It'll be Efrain Alvarez, halftime substitute to take with his left foot. Dresses it with the in swinger. Flicked along at the near post, headed away by Johansson to the top of the box. Kamungo on a dribble run trying to get clear, and there's a free kick, and we'll quickly turn it to our own Garrett Melser for his halftime report.
Hey guys, I just sat in on the FC Dallas halftime team talk from Eric Quill, and most of what he focused on was the FC Dallas press. He felt it wasn't organized enough in the first half. One guy was going, but not the entire front line. The midfield wasn't pushing up behind them to really cut off those options for Chivas playing out. He thinks the goalkeeper is too good for them just to be slowly pressing. They have to sprint at him every time Chivas trying to play out of the back. Also, when FC Dallas is in possession, he wants the team to play a little bit more from the back. He asked Jonathan Sirois to be a bit more calm, rather than launching it long, to look for those passes, look for his center backs to try to get the ball on the ground and play a little bit out of the back. To you guys.
Thank you, Garrett. It's possession with Chivas along the back line as we've played 5 minutes of this second half.
Interesting observations there. I saw Valiente up there as a one-man press one time, but I didn't really see it. Of course, Eric Will sees a lot more. Sees the game a lot better than I do.
And he's not necessarily always telling the truth to the team either. Maybe just trying to keep them motivated after what was overall a pretty solid half. Lifted up the near sideline, working forward. Chivas on their left are going to win a corner kick here.
And I do appreciate the ambition there of asking Sirois to, be a little more calm on the ball and play a little bit more, be a little bit more on-hill.
Taken short for Chivas, and they'll whip it in from the near corner of the 18. Header away by Ibiaga. Breaks for Valiente, who will drive through the defensive half. Out towards the Dallas left, bring it now beyond the halfway line. He dumps it off for Santi Moreno. He's joined him in this counterattack. Sets it back towards Capis, just into the attacking half.
I would have liked to have seen him give the ball to Santi Moreno a lot earlier, as opposed to sort of slowing down the attack and letting Chivas get numbers back.
Valiente back on it, wide on the Dallas left, plays it up the sideline for Kamungo. Kamungo is being harried there, and he's forced to turn back. They'll move it along the back line. Ibiaga receives it at the halfway line, back over to Norris. Norris dribbles past the first defender, runs into three, does well to split that pressure and get it wide for Valiente. Return to Norris, up towards the byline on the left, whips it in with pace. And over everybody's head. This one's going to run out for a throw back on this near sideline.
Peter Musa not happy that Nolan Norris didn't just play a simple ball back to him.
Chivas launching it long to clear their lines, controlling possession near the center circle. Alvarez is playing deeper than used to seeing him play. Looks like he's setting up on the left side for Chivas. We've got possession here just into the Dallas half in the right center channel of their attack. Lifted up towards the front line. Set down for Alvarado, who can't keep hold of it.
Nice tackle from Gaike.
Player replaced at halftime was Miguel Gomez, who was the left wing back in the first half and had the best chance of the game for Chivas in those final seconds.
Yeah, that's the one that I thought Herman Johansson did a really good job of just getting himself out there and sliding in front of Gomez and making sure he didn't have a good, clean look at that far post.
If you missed the halftime break, it's Santi Moreno on for Sam Sarver, Christian Capis on for Ramiro for Dallas, as we've now played 7 minutes of the second half. Alvarez from the halfway line, playing it wide to the near side. Scooped up and in behind, and Johansson had a tug of the jersey there. Got away with one of those in the first half, and I think he's going to get away with another one here, but it was a free kick, nothing more.
Yeah, Costa Rican referee Josue Ugalde hasn't shown a card yet.
There's a lot of interchange in the way that Chivas played, so much so that I keep going for Edson Alvarez. Efrain Alvarez is essentially playing as the left center back. He's an attacking midfielder who wears the number 10, interchanging with Brian Gonzalez on that left side. He'll take it here. Alvarez flights it in towards the back post. Breaks on the far side of the 18, hammered towards the top of the box where it's cleared by Kamungo. Switching ball from the far side over towards the near side. Johansson heads it downfield for Dallas. Kept in play near the halfway line. Chivas have possession with Govea. Tried to run it through the left center channel and it just got it wrong there. Sirois quickly sprints out off his line to come and pick it up. Mentioned in the first half, it hasn't been a very successful run in Leagues Cup over now 4 years for Chivas. They've never advanced past the group stage, and they only have one regulation win all time. Up towards Musa, who loses out. Dallas immediately putting the pressure on, forcing it all the way back to Rangel.
Yeah, you're right. Gabriel Milito, the coach for Chivas Guadalajara, they said that they've got 2 finals now. They got to win both these games.
Kamungo into Kayik in the middle. Moves it over towards Johansson, being closed down there by Alvarez. And Johansson comes away with the ball as he moves in field. Fouled after he released the play. Over towards Valiente, who hits it off a Chivas player out for a throw-in.
The referee indicating that I saw the foul, but I'm letting you guys play the advantage.
Norris takes the throw-in up the far sideline, looking for Kamungo. Couldn't receive it there. And now Luis Romo plays it over towards this near sideline at the halfway line where Gonzalez will now drive forward. Passes in field for Govea, who lifts it out to the Chivas right. Coming forward, Campillo. Now across into the area, over the head of Shackmore, headed goalwards and saved by Sirois, tipped up over the bar. And Chivas looking to take it quickly. Dallas alert to it.
So it looks like Sirois maybe could have caught that, but just being safe.
Third save of the game for the Canadian. Chivas opting not to go short. They'll now ready the outswinger from the near side. Flighted in towards the top of the box. Moreno heads it away. Breaks back for Alvarado. Again, Moreno got a piece of the ball, but it's still with Piojo. Turns and finds a teammate and now lifts it into the area. Just out of the reach of Luis Romo. It'll be a goal kick for Dallas.
Now Moreno, no defender because he headed that ball right into a dangerous spot, right at the top of the penalty area. Dallas able to escape unharmed though.
'57th minute, Sirois readies the goal kick. Hammers it up towards the right side. Musa's header is over towards Bernard Kamungo near the center circle. Kamungo got positioning there, and he was hauled down from behind, so it'll be a free kick basically on the halfway line. Another change coming for the Mexican side. The next opportunity as Moreno's flick couldn't find a teammate. Turns over. Chivas have it in the center circle. Played out towards the near side and wide with Efrain Alvarez. Switching ball in the air over to the right side where Campillo brings it forward. Combining with Alvarado. Wide to the right side, Ledesma. Sets it back in the midfield, and Dallas stepped their line a couple of yards higher up the field. Again, out to the right side. Ledesma pokes it to the corner flag. Alvarado receives it wide there, getting to his left foot. Sets it back into the middle, towards the byline. Big sliding tackle from Norris. Breaks back Chivas' way. Alvarado inside the area. Moreno defending. And it's scooped out to the near side. Alvarez, low cross sent in, repelled by Kappas and hammered out for a throw by Herman Johansson. Looks like Chivas are setting up for the long throw in here. This one well advanced up their left side. Launched in, flicked along at the near post, headed up in the air by Kayike. And Norris got it out of the 18, but still not really cleared. It's Alvarez scooping it into the area, flicked along, arriving at the back post. Sirois turns it away. And behind for another corner. Ledesma with the effort that time.
And Chivas now, where they're possessing the ball, it's closer to goal, so they're starting to ask more questions of the defenders, requiring more saves out of Serwa.
This time they take the corner kick short, changing the angle for Alvarez, who has it blocked by Valiente, out for a throw-in.
I think a couple of players for Dallas, maybe Herman Johansson in particular, getting a little tired.
Throw-in taken. He volleys it up in the air, bicycle kick clearance, hammers it downfield. It breaks back to Alvarez. Chivas looking to combine in tight quarters, and Dallas come away with it. Kike trying to switch the play, leaves that one short of Johansson. And now it's Alvarez in the middle of the attacking half. Slip pass forward is intercepted well by Shaq Moore. Musa dropping deep, has it at the edge of his own 18, dropped off for Norris, who plays it forward for Kamungo. Set wide for Valiente. Nobody's really in their correct position here as it's up towards Christian Kappas, who's the furthest player forward. His header finds Shaq Moore. Kappas, positive first touch, makes his way forward up to the halfway line. Now hits the ball into the center circle for Kike. Quickly moved over to his left. Valiente drives forward, left center channel. Nice slip ball in towards Moreno at the top of the 18. Poor first touch, pops up in the air, and Chivas come away with it.
Yeah, I thought that ball was driven pretty hard into Moreno.
Played an hour now at PayPal Park. Chivas preparing another change as Alvarez hits a switching diagonal out to the right side. Brought down there and fired across, but it's caught by Serwa at the top of the 6. And Dallas had attempted to play on there, rolled it forward for Kappas, but referee stops play, presumably for something ailing Kike, who was close to him, and the referee immediately turned to him. It's allowed Chivas to make their 2 changes as Marin and Castañeda are on, replacing Gonzalez and Gonzalez. Armando Gonzalez and Ruben Gonzalez both coming off. I'm not sure, still haven't got a shot of what's going on. Kike,
I wonder if he's got a little blood.
waiting off the field, and he's clearly frustrated.
Or maybe he asked he said he needed to walk off. Very odd.
Dallas is playing with 10 and not quite sure why. And it breaks for Valiente off the long ball. He's unable to keep hold of it, and now Chivas in possession in the center circle. Moved out to the right side, shy of halfway. Hit up the far sideline, foot race to get to the ball. Norris at full stretch, sliding tackle, puts it out for a throw, and it hits off the Chivas player as well. Great tackle there for the homegrown Nolan Norris. And crucially, it's a Dallas restart, so they can take a little bit of extra time for whatever the situation with Kike is to resolve itself. Dallas runs it out of play on the far side. Still no Kike for the moment. Chivas approaching the attacking third. Alvarez scoops the ball out towards the right side. Header trying to direct it back across. Deflects kindly for Dallas. And Santa Moreno plays it out to the left side for Musa. Musa scooped ball over the top for the run of Moreno, perfectly into his path. He's still up against 3 defenders as he lashes a shot towards goal. And the loose ball breaks back his way. Kike being waved back on the field as Chivas have possession once again. And Romo holds off Kike there, who's just shot out of a cannon coming back into the game. Possession for the Mexican side in the center circle with Gouveia. Over to the right side, Campillo will walk it forward. Up towards the front line, first touch in field as the Chivas player lost his footing and turns over. And nice ball through the middle. Moreno finds Valiente. 2 goal scorers from Wednesday. Dumped off for Kappas, who's fouled from behind by Sepulveda.
I like the choice there to find Moreno early. I think the more Dallas can do that, I think they'll be able to, they'll have a little bit more success with their ball progression.
Two changes for Chivas moments ago. Attacking changes. Ricardo Marin, 28-year-old striker. Kevin Castañeda, attacking midfielder, into this game. Very attacking lineup for Chivas at the moment. As Dallas have possession, advanced up the left side. Mungo passing backwards into the defensive half. Ebiaga moves it along the ground out to Shaq Moore. Into midfield, Kappas over to Valiente. Loses possession there. Hard tackle from Brian Gonzalez. And Chivas advance through the center circle, lift it back out towards this near side. Sliding tackle from Shaq Moore. Another great sliding tackle. And it'll be Dallas ball once again as it cannons off the Chivas player.
Looks like Dallas readying 2 changes. Let's see, Sazi Urguide over there warming up.
Garrett reporting that there was some sort of conversation between Kayik and the referee, which the referee interpreted as him asking for the play to stop, which meant he had to come off the field. And that was that whole mess moments ago. As Urguide is on for Ibeaga and Farrington is on for Valiente here in the 66th minute. And Dallas really using their depth to try and find all 3 points out on the West Coast tonight. Farrington did not play on Wednesday. He'll be fresh and eager to impress tonight.
And that's 4 changes for Eric Quill, so he's got 1 left.
Some space opening up in the middle of the Dallas half, brought forward by Castañeda. Dallas getting bodies back in. And now a late runner wide on the right side for Chivas. It's Campillo who wins a corner kick. First involvement for Urguide is to block the cross behind. Saze slots right into the middle of the Dallas back 3, and he'll be at the heart of this corner kick defense. Efrain Alvarez looking for another in-swinger from the far flag. Whipped into the near post, uncontested header away for Farrington. Kamungo trying to get it further clear. Dallas players running into each other, but a handball given against Chivas in the, it wasn't quite a car crash, but maybe a bike crash.
So as soon as Dallas sets up shop, I'll be able to pick out where exactly Farrington is slotted in. I don't think there's going to be any kind of a tactical formation change.
Sirois sends everybody up the field. Free kick a couple of yards outside the Dallas box. It's launched long out to the right side. Johansson header up into the air towards Farrington. Volleyed clear by Romo.
So he will just take the Valiente spot on the right side now.
And now here's Santi Moreno driving through the attacking half, keeping its balance just about. Pass intended for Farrington is deflected away. Thought the referee could have come back there. It looked like he played advantage, and immediately he was turned over.
Yeah, there's definitely a little contact on Moreno as he tried to dribble in that central channel.
Free kick for Chivas. Osaze called for a foul in the back of Sepulveda.
Well, that didn't take long.
Taken short and quickly out to their attacking right, beyond the halfway line.
You think Osaze recognized that there weren't being a lot of fouls called and begged Eric Quill to get him in the game?
He's in for the roller derby as Chivas look to combine just outside the Dallas box. Out to the left side, coming in field. Castañeda with the shot right at Sirois. Makes the catch. An important catch with Chivas players bearing down, and he quickly fires it ahead to Farrington, who's at the halfway line on the Dallas left.
Somebody got caught out of position there as Herman Johansson was on the wrong end of a 2v1.
Dallas still out on their left side. Moreno has it at the halfway line, switches it along the ground out to Shaq Moore. Slipped in behind for Herman Johansson, who's got some space to come forward here. The center forward's Wade as he whips it in. Air underneath this one. It bounces once, arrives at the back post, and Chivas recover it there. And now a chance maybe for Dallas to press, but that press is broken, and Castañeda has it now driving through the center circle. Alvarez options either side. Over to the left now. Dallas defending in transition as Alvarez drags the shot off target from the top of the box, dead center.
Right, that's what Chivas is so good at. You know, once they break that press, in about 3 seconds, Castañeda has the ball from inside his own half into the other penalty area. But then their attack just sort of dies every time it hits the penalty area.
Another former MLS player, Brian Gutierrez, is on to replace Richie Ledesma. He's indicating it's some sort of change of shape for his team. As it's launched long, Gutierrez immediately into the mix, contesting that around the center circle. As it's set back for Rangel. Rangel scoops it out to the Chivas left. Ryan Gonzalez working with Romo here. Dallas with plenty of players committed forward. It's a giveaway. It's Petter Musa. Petter Musa off the near post and behind. Oh, the press finally paid off, but Petter Musa unable to punish.
Well, that is in the 70th minute the best chance of the game for either team. Is that Romo that just doesn't recognize that Petter Musa is behind him. He tries to play his goalkeeper, and Petter Musa with one touch is around Angel, and he's a little bit of a bad angle, but I still would have I would have bet your week's salary that Petter Musa was going to put that away.
He still had a lot of goal to aim at. It was a perfect first touch that took him around the goalkeeper, but not too wide to close the angle. And now with 20 minutes to go, Dallas will feel that they should be in front, but they've still got to go and find that goal. Possession for the Hoops in the back half. Kappas out to the left side, bobbling pass, just about kept alive. Back for Uriguide from the top of the box. Will drive forward on the dribble through the middle of the field. Plays it wide to Johansson. Johansson hits it in behind. Uriguide has continued his run here, and it's another flick back towards the goalkeeper. Uriguide's onto it, and a sliding shot is sliced off target. I think you were right, Steve. I think Osaze was just itching to get on the field. He's been everywhere. And now that's two chances for Dallas. That one admittedly much less potent, but created out of some pressure on that Chivas back line.
Yeah, it was a sliding toe poke by Uriguide as he had pressure coming from behind, and Angel arriving, Rangel arriving from the front, the goalkeeper. He just did the best he could and just hit that shot well wide.
Kappas lifts it up the left side towards Farrington. Loses out there. In the middle. Castañeda back across for Alvarez. Right center channel for Chivas. He's closed down by Norris. They're combining short passes, move it back out towards the near side. And into the middle again for Alvarez. Referee plays advantage as a left-footed bending ball is in towards the back post, flicked out wide to the 18 on the far side. Cut back ball to the top of the box, looking to turn there. Gutierrez dispossessed by Kaique, who will dribble it clear. Pass forward up towards Musa, who's looking to turn, hold off Romo, and he does well. Dumps the defender to the turf, and now Musa with options either side. Slips it out to the left for Kaique, arriving inside the 18. Cut back ball finds Musa, but it wasn't a good one. Musa's managed to dig it out and find Moreno. Moreno over to Logan Farrington. Farrington to his left. Farrington scores! And Dallas stunned the Chivas faithful at PayPal Park as the big dog is back on the score sheet.
There's a lot of chaos involved in that goal, but in the end, it was Logan Farrington. You almost thought he had lost the moment when he took one extra dribble, pushed it back across goal. It all starts off with that Kaique ball that wasn't the best back for Musa. Musa was able to do something with it, though. Got it to Marino. You thought Marino might shoot it 18 yards. Instead, he slips it over to Logan Farrington, who, again, one touch, took it to the inside, and then a picture-perfect placement on the shot. And that's what you got to do to beat Mexico's number 1 from about 16 yards.
It reminded me of that chance he had at the death against San Diego where he cut it back and he felt like he should have just taken the shot, but that one was much more reminiscent of some of his early season action. Composure inside the box, understanding where the defender's coming from with pace. You can get him off balance, and just a perfect finish with power as well. And Dallas now lead. And what is, for all intents and purposes, a road game and one of their most difficult road games of the season.
And for all the possession, 68% by Chivas, it's not like Dallas hasn't had their good chances, including one that Peter Musa definitely should have put away. So you wouldn't really call it a smash and grab despite the possession tilt.
Wide on the left side, Chivas lifting a ball in. Camungo got a piece of it. It's not cleared. Eventually Capis swings a left foot through it, but it stays with the Mexican side. Wide on the far side, near the corner flag. Camungo's 1v1 defending there as the right-footed ball is sent in over the head of everybody. Breaks at the top of the box, cutback ball to the top of the D. And a nice chop back there past 2 defenders. A shot fired through traffic by Castañeda, but blocked away.
Urguide with the block there.
Chivas already with a extremely attacking lineup on the field are now forced to really go for it. Castañeda from the left center channel. Pass forward is intercepted. Musa holding the defender off his back, finds it wide for Capis, back into Musa. Musa finding a way past 2. And now he launches it forward, looking for the run of Farrington out towards the left side, just under hit it. And possession turns back over to Chivas. Bring it forward through their right center channel with Campillo. Slipped ball into the area, looking for Gutierrez, and it's out of his reach. It'll be a goal kick here with 15 minutes plus stoppage time to play.
Yeah, it was out of his reach, but Urguide hustling over there, doing the thing that one of the things he does best, which is as he moves diagonally, he just gets himself in front of the attacker, just shepherds the ball out of bounds.
For Logan Farrington, that is now a new career high in goals. He'd already equaled it earlier in the season, now up to 7 in all competitions. And his first off the bench, actually. His previous 6 goals had all come from the start, as a free kick is given to Chivas, and the first yellow card of the game is awarded to Bernard Camungo, as he was challenging for the goal kick just beyond the halfway line.
Ryan, I'd have to say it's interesting what the Apple TV broadcast is doing is sort of bleeping out the word that nobody really likes on those goal kicks. And while I get it, I think what you'd rather see is somebody take action about it on the field.
Chivas making their way up the near side, cross deflected up in the air. Johansson's header has kept the attack alive for Chivas, as it's now way up in the air. Sirois coming through traffic, got a piece of it with the punch, and it breaks wide for Peter Musa, who will make his way up the near sideline, driving forward on the dribble. Hits the ball in the air out towards Farrington. It's going to drag him wide to the left, but he's going to track this one down and keep it in play. And reinforcements are on the way here. Infield for the run of Moreno. Set in field for Camungo now. Camungo looking for the top corner. Got underneath that one, and it ends up in the seats.
Well, you mentioned a minute ago how Chivas has added the attacking subs, and okay, it's causing Dallas some problems, but it's also causing Chivas problems in the back. They're just not defending as well right now.
Last change coming for the Mexican side. It's Jordan Carrillo on to replace Omar Govea, and this is about as attacking a lineup as Chivas can put on the field now. Eric Quill has 1 change remaining. That's the only change that we might still see in this game. And a beautiful evening in the Bay. Dallas on the cusp of a potentially historic international result for the club. Switching ball across, brought down by Camungo at the top of the Dallas box. He launches it forward. Loose ball in midfield is hit clear by Capis. Farrington, nice first touch near the sideline on the near side. Keep possession alive for the Hoops, and a 1-2 with Kaique. And it runs him into Luis Romo. And Chivas now go the other way. Shot from distance is saved by Sirois. Offside flag was up anyway.
As they're in the 79th minute now, you wonder if maybe it's one of the wing backs, Bernie Camungo or Herman Johansson. Bernie Camungo played the full 90 the other night. A really hot night in Mansfield. Herman Johansson didn't quite go the whole way, but both of them logged a lot of tough minutes.
Speaking of Mansfield, North Texas SC starting a long homestand with a 3-1 come-from-behind win tonight against Tacoma Defiance at Mansfield Stadium. As we still wait for FC Dallas to return home, you've got a chance maybe to get out there and watch North Texas SC, the future of the club, in action. Chivas back in possession near the halfway line. And their right side played into the center circle and moved along the ground out to the near side. Brought forward through the left center channel by Gonzalez. Now moved back into the middle for Gutierrez. Former Chicago homegrown.
Looks like Dallas about to get its final change on the field.
Wide on the right side with Alvarado up against Kamungo. Cutting to his left foot and setting it back for Gutierrez. Gutierrez into the middle. Musa read the pass all the way and quickly gets it forward for Farrington. Kike sprinting forward through the right center channel. Farrington driving forward on the dribble through the left center channel. Heavy touch eventually runs into Romo, but he's still keeping this one alive. Farrington slips it through for Musa, and the whistle goes for a foul. I mean, similar to Musa on the goal, Farrington up against World Cup veteran Luis Romo and just dueling the ball away from him, digging it out of the challenge. Efrain Alvarez from just into the Dallas half. Finds Gutierrez in the middle, those two former MLSers. The heart of this Chivas comeback attempt. Out to the wide on the right side, Alvarado, back heel, nice slip ball through to the byline. Cross blocked by a sliding Nolan Norris, and it'll be behind for a corner. Great recovery there for Nolan.
Tilda Norris excited about that little fist pump there as he recovered his position and got the tackle right.
Will come from the far flag for Kevin Castaneda, looking for an outswinger. Whipped in towards the near post. Nobody got the first contact. It's kept alive. Appeals for a handball as Gutierrez hammers it way high.
Well, as we're into the 81st minute, a couple of things to think about now for Dallas is, first of all, it's 73 degrees now, so it's a pretty refreshing temperature.
They are at least holding for the moment. It's on a replay we've seen to talk you through.
The other thing that bodes well for Dallas, I don't think this little stoppage here notwithstanding, there hasn't been a lot of stopping, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of added time.
Taking a look at the replay now, it was volleyed from very close range onto the arm of Norris. Would really feel harsh if this is given as a penalty. It was in a natural position. Didn't block anything directly towards goal. I mean, we saw much, much less in a game already in Leagues Cup not given. No penalty. Dallas will now take the opportunity to make their final change. Petter Musa will be replaced by Ron Benjamin. Petter Musa unable to score tonight, had one gilt-edged chance, but was heavily involved in the build-up to the Dallas goal. Second straight game where he created, even if he doesn't end up on the score sheet. Benjamin heads into midfield to try and shore things up here with 8 minutes plus stoppage time to go.
So this is what I was referring to a minute ago. I think they're going to stop the game at this point, I think.
So this is a procedure in place for discriminatory chants that have been audible all night, except for when the producer has cut them out. And it'll bring a stop to the game. And you have to say, a stop that benefits Dallas, who are in the lead here. In theory, the time will be added back on, but a moment to rest and regroup and strategize for this final stretch will certainly benefit the Hoops here.
I guess so, although, Dallas looked to be in a pretty good rhythm defending. Chivas was creating some incursions into the penalty area, but it's not like Serwaz had to stand on his head tonight. He's had a few saves to make.
Yeah, another 5 save game so far.
but pretty much routine stuff.
That's been the case over the last 3 games, in which so far we're headed towards a potentially 3rd straight clean sheet. But that's not necessarily a knock on Sirwa. Obviously, he's done his job and he's done it admirably. It's more credit to the Dallas defense, who are limiting to shots from difficult areas, half chances, and making things comfortable for the man in goal. As it stands here in the 84th minute, we wait to restart play as we're into the procedure for the discriminatory chanting from the fans in attendance. It's Logan Farrington's goal that's the difference, as the players now make their way from the center circle back out into formation. The next stop on that procedure is to abandon the game if the referee deems that that is warranted. I've personally never seen it get to that point, not because the chant has stopped, but because the referee has opted not to do so.
Yep, bit of discretion can go a long way.
Drop ball for Kappas, who hammers it high out towards Benjamin. Can't keep it in play. It was hardly an uncontested drop ball. It was very contested, which is no longer a part of the game, although it was there. Lifted in behind. Aragide sweeping it out for a throw-in near the corner flag on the near side as we're into the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time.
So, of course, Benjamin goes out to the right side of the midfield formation, and then Logan Farrington goes up to take Peter Moose's striker spot.
Referee holding this restart as well. Conversation is with Logan Farrington, as flares have made their way onto the field at the other end.
And apparently set some of the grass on fire.
Well, the well-placed fire extinguishers have done the job, but there's a billowing smoke in the 18 at the other end. Just shoot. See if the goalkeeper can see it coming.
Well, I did say the first half was sort of low event. We've made up for it in the second half.
Long throw coming for the side from Guadalajara. Everybody back defensively for Dallas as it's heaved in, headed away by Benjamin, back out to the throw-in taker. Launched towards the top of the box, flicked along by Alvarez, nodded into the area. Uragide, an important touch. Benjamin, slice clearance, but it comes out off a Chivas player for a Dallas throw.
Yeah, that was definitely a spinning anywhere but here clearance from Benjamin, but it sure worked out for Dallas.
It'll be a throw-in for Herman Johansson from just outside the technical area on the Dallas sideline. Eric Quill's patrolling now, moments away from potentially a signature win in his tenure. Just the second ever matchup between these two sides. We mentioned in the build-up to this game a 2007 Superliga clash, which ended 1-1 in Frisco. Dallas in possession on the far sideline in the attacking half with Kamungo, who's lost out there. What does Chivas have up their sleeve in these final moments? It's Santi Moreno who's picked the pocket of the defender there, come away with the ball, sets it back to the halfway line, just out of the reach of Kaique, who loses out.
Kaique might have gotten a little tired there, and he's earned the right to be tired.
Lifted out towards this near side. Shackmore coming across. Great defending there. It's out for a Chivas throw, but he kept it away from Alvarez. The throw-in is taken quickly into the middle of the attacking half for Chivas, so we'll switch it across to the far side. Left-footed service from Alvarado is deflected by Kamungo and cleared away.
And the ball fell to Kaique again, and he just couldn't really do anything with it. I think he's just exhausted.
Just over 2 minutes remaining in the 90. It's wide on this near side. Alvarez sends a left-footed curling ball in, flicked along, and then hammered off the head of Nolan Norris behind for a corner. And Norris is immediately back to his feet, but that was a close-range collision with a ball with some pace behind it. Corner from the near side, taken by Castañeda. Whipped into the near post, flicked along, cleared away by Benjamin at the back post. And they have found that near post flick all night, but yet to take advantage of it. Bouncing back out towards the corner flag on the near side. Castaneda has a really good job there of buying the foul. Some contact by Christian Kappas near the flag. It's essentially going to be another corner. From about 1 yard away from the flag. Castaneda will try it again. Can they patrol that near post area? Usually Petter Moose's bread and butter. He's off the field.
Yeah, it's Logan Farrington's area now.
Castaneda from the near side, whipped in, punched away by Sirois. Back out to the top of the box, set back for Gutierrez in the center. He scoops it out towards the near side, but Moreno read it all the way. He hammers it clear. Gutierrez recovers possession, middle of the Dallas half. Benjamin doing some good running. Not making life easy here as we're 30 seconds away from finding out how much stoppage time will be added on. Alvarez scoops it over the top. Urguide nods it out. And that one is spinning towards the byline. Farrington gives chase and puts it out for a throw. Can Dallas see this one out? They had a lead late in their first game back from the World Cup in Portland. Conceded in that one. Chivas launched the long throw in, flicked along at the near post. Headed away by Urguide to the top of the box. Still not cleared now. Kayik will put a foot through it, and it bounces up to the halfway line.
It's just so strange, all the good defending they've done tonight, and they just keep allowing that near post header.
7 minutes added on for Dallas to navigate here.
That seems like a lot.
Well, you have to account for the 2 for the stoppage and play, but even 5 would have been a lot, I think. Dallas a little bit out of position here. Bernie Kamungo's on the right for the moment, defending as Chivas whip a right-footed ball in towards the back post. Norris heads it away. Moreno allows it to bounce, and that one stays in play. It's a big save from Sirois from close range, and now the flag goes up as the assistant referee on the far side was delayed with the flag. And, well, that was not going to go down as a save for Sirois, but it was probably his best of the night on a header from the near post.
And he's asking the referee what the ball certainly appeared to have gone out over the end line before that save. I believe that's the point Dallas' goalkeeper is trying to make.
And Sirois launches it long past the halfway line. Benjamin flicks the header up towards Farrington, but it is launched the other way by Chivas. Norris header up towards the halfway line, brought down there by Moreno. And really no consistent possession since Musa went off, but it breaks kindly for Benjamin. Left center channel, slips it through for Moreno. 2 runners in the middle, to his right. Moreno now at the top of the box, slips it in behind for Kayike, and that was just never the option. It runs behind for a goal kick.
No, Kayike wanted the ball played back to him, and instead Santi Marino read that Kayike was going to keep running through.
Now 2 minutes of the 7 added on have elapsed. Chivas quickly advancing it into the attacking half and switching it across to the far sideline. Alvarado there running at Kamungo, getting to his favorite left foot, but Norris steps in the way and hammers it clear and all the way through to Rangel. No saves on the night for Rangel. The only shot on target for Dallas was Logan Farrington's ball into the side netting. Alvarez wide on the Chivas left. Scoops it forward. Shackmore there, winning it back from Castaneda, now looking for a way out. Clears it up towards Farrington. Perfect chest down for Benjamin, who sprints into the middle. Hits the switching ball out to Kamungo, who makes his way forward. 2v2, going the other way for Dallas. Moreno joining in as well. Bernie Kamungo cuts it back across for Benjamin, just out of his reach. He'll keep hold of it. Brought wide of the 18 on the near side. Up against 2 defenders here. And it's going to run out for a goal kick. And that was the chance maybe to ice the game. Now instead we head into the final 4 minutes of stoppage time with the game delicately poised.
I thought maybe Benjamin would run right for the corner flag. Instead he tried to cut it back, and he had 2 guys on him.
Halfway through, 7 minutes added on. Possession at the halfway line for Chivas in the center circle. Moved out to the right side and now wide with Alvarado. Nice continuation of the run there for Chivas. Low cross sent in, repelled by Uriguide, behind for a corner. Focus and intensity of purpose here needed for Dallas.
Herman Johansson was telling Benjamin, you take the next one right to the corner.
3 minutes to play. Corner comes from the far flag. In swinging service right towards Sirois, who makes the catch. A pop fly for the Dallas goalkeeper there, who will now take his time and launch it downfield. Up towards the right side, Benjamin there, able to bring it down, and now moves it infield for Farrington. Farrington bearing down on the Chivas back line. Over to his right foot, in behind for Benjamin along the right side. Benjamin turns back along the byline. And working with Farrington, they may well head to the corner flag here. Farrington up against two defenders, knocks it off the Chivas player, and out for a throw. And I think we just saw growth there within the 1 minute stretch for Ron Benjamin.
Well, actually, I think Benjamin, he had a chance to shoot and put the game away. But he had just been scolded by Big Herman Johansson, so yes, and he's now working the corner.
Throw in taken into Farrington near the corner flag. He runs it over the line for a throw. Awkward hooked clearance. It's won back briefly by Dallas. Now it's launched forward by Alvarez. Nobody anywhere near it in Chivas red, white, and blue. So Kamungo will track it down and get it back for Sirois. 2 minutes to play. Sirois looking for Johansson. Hangs that one up out of play. Throwing at the halfway line. Alvarez lifts it up towards the front line. Norris wins the header. Nodded towards Moreno. Back towards the Dallas back line, but Moreno is going to be called for a foul as the referee brings this one back. 20 yards into the attacking half for Chivas in a central position. They take it short. Moved over to this left side. Alvarez bending ball in towards the back post. Headed up in the air. Uriguide nods it away. Now still contested inside the Dallas area. Moving towards the far side. Gutierrez turning backwards. Just a minute to play now. Gonzalez in the left center channel for Chivas. Sets it wide for Alvarez. Benjamin defending. Gets his body in the way. And now looking for a way out. It's hit it off the Chivas player. Kite coming across to help. Puts it out. 50 seconds remaining. It's going to be one last long throw for the Gigantes. Launched in towards the near post. Johansson heads it away to the top of the box. Kept alive there. Gutierrez lines up a shot from distance, up and over the bar. Sirois not called into action that time, and instead he'll get to watch the clock tick down here towards 97.
Well, he was called into action a little bit in that he gave it a courtesy dive and then just so he could roll on the ground for a few more seconds. It's gamesmanship, though. You've earned the right for that.
And into the final 15 seconds of stoppage time. Out towards the right. Flicks off of a Chivas head, and that should all about do it. It's out for a Dallas throw in the attacking half. Chivas coming off of a penalty loss to LAFC. We're looking to get back in the win column tonight, but it's a big win in the Bay for FC Dallas as Logan Farrington's second half strike sends them into the top four in this Leagues Cup table, and they'll head to Toluca with a big dog in the fight.
Yeah, still alive in the tournament thanks to a really well-managed game. And I tell you what, a lot of really good defending tonight. I thought Shaq and Nolan in particular were just exceptional.
Make it 3 straight clean sheets for Jonathan Sirois in this back line. They'll go down to Mexico for the first time in some time for this club, and they'll have plenty to play for. Thank you for joining us tonight as Dallas takes down Chivas de Guadalajara. One of the Gigantes of the Mexican League falls tonight. And we will talk you through all that we saw in San Jose on the post-game show as we're just soaking this one in. 1-0 FC Dallas. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
This is Logan Farrington, striker for FC Dallas. Behind every goal, there's a team you don't always see. The ones keeping everything running, secure, connected, ready. That's General Informatics. From cybersecurity to smarter IT solutions, General Informatics powers FC Dallas with advanced technology support so we can stay focused on the game. General Informatics. Complex IT made simple.
After almost 100 tough minutes at PayPal Park, it's FC Dallas 1, Chivas de Guadalajara 0, as FC Dallas silenced the San Jose crowd that was mainly pro-Chivas and gets their 6th points tonight in 2026 Leagues Cup action. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas postgame show brought to you tonight by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. It's also brought to you this evening by UMB Bank. See how UMB can help you achieve your business goals. I am your host, Sam Hale. Will be joined in just a moment by the voices of tonight's victory, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. We'll also hear live from San Jose from Logan Farrington, the man of the match. That's both the scorer and the man voted man of the match by the fans. But first, let's get to your halftime or your post-game highlights. Knew that was going to happen at some point. But it took all the way to the 77th minute. It was silent on the scoreboard, but then the big dog decided to bark.
Pass forward up towards Musso, who's looking to turn, hold off Romo, and he does well. Dumps the defender to the turf, and now Musso with options either side. Slips it out to the left for Kaique, arriving inside the 18. Cutback ball finds Musa, but it wasn't a good one. Musa's managed to dig it out and find Moreno. Moreno over to Logan Farrington. Farrington to his left. Farrington scores! And Dallas stunned the Chivas faithful at PayPal Park as the big dog is back on the score sheet.
Farrington's 7th of the season overall made it 1-0 Dallas in the 77th minute, and they were able to hold on for the victory to get points number 4, 5, and 6 and stay very much alive for advancement in the 2026 Leagues Cup. Let's go ahead and get you your post-game stats. Those are brought to you by UMB Bank. Possession goes the way of Chivas 67-33, 17 shots and 5 of those on target for Chivas, 8 shots, just 1 on target for FC Dallas. 5 saves tonight officially for Jonathan Sirois, none for Raul Rangel. 12 fouls, 1 yellow card for FCD. That went to Bernie Camungo. 9 fouls, no yellow cards tonight for Chivas. So let's bring in the voices now of tonight's victory. It's Ryan Figert. It's Steve Davis. And Ryan, it was very clear by all the prediction markets and assorted entities, Dallas was the decided underdog. But yet, here we sit, 90-plus minutes later, Dallas wins 1-0, and I would argue they earned every single second of this one.
Yeah, there are different ways to put in a good performance. There are different ways to control the game, and Dallas controlled the game tonight without the ball. You look at the possession, 72% for Chivas. They stack up 19 shots, just 5 of those on target, a lot of those shots coming from distance and really not testing Sirois. It was a game in which Dallas's structure overcame the possession and the ideas of Chivas, who threw an attacking lineup at it, threw everything at the wall down the stretch there, and Dallas just had answers for each and every foray forward from the Mexican side. A terrific defensive structure, a terrific grit shown by this team, and ultimately they had the one moment that we thought would come when we sat here and talked at halftime. We said if they can just have those same level of chances in the second half, they'll find the winning goal, and it came from the second half substitute, Logan Farrington, a perfect finish and a perfect result, setting up for a big game on Wednesday night.
And, Steve, obviously we didn't know how this game was going to look. Chivas is a very talented team. They went toe-to-toe with LAFC and just kind of lost the penalty lottery. But seeing them tonight, they looked as good as they did on Wednesday, but kind of fell the same problem. They just couldn't quite get past Jonathan Sirwa and the Dallas defense tonight.
Yeah, I think it was more the Dallas defense. I will say that I think Chivas is a really, really good team right up until the 18. I don't think they're particularly great.
I'm going all the way to 12. I think even further in.
You're right.
Yeah.
Actually, that's right. They're just not good at the one thing you have to be kind of good at in soccer, which is putting the ball in the back of the net. But honestly, their build up out of the back, their defending is resolute. Their ability to progress the ball in transition, their ability to combine is all really good. But I think Dallas, this was such a typical Eric Quill road game. In that, remember, we talk about how good this team is on the road. And I know lately, they didn't look great at San Diego, but they did have a draw at Portland, a draw at LA Galaxy. And again tonight, it's just a really good managed road performance. We can talk about individuals later, but right now I'm just going to tell you that the 5-4-1, the way they played it tonight, understanding the way Chivas wants to play, and they were just so nice and compact, and they just didn't Chivas did find some room, just like you said, Ryan, up around until they get to about the 18, but Dallas just shuts it off from there. They just turn off the spigot.
Yeah, it was just phenomenal. And inside the 6 and just outside the 6, the aerial duels that was on show on Wednesday as well. The back line, and the credit to Sebastian Ibiaga, who started both of these games, allowing Osaze to get some time off in this game. And then Osaze comes in the second half and has his usual dynamite energy on the defensive half and making runs forward as well. Ultimately, when you look at the chances of this game, and I haven't seen an XG number or anything like that, I think Dallas by far had the better chances of the game. I mean, you look at the Peter Musa strike off the post. Yeah, now XG shown as 1.6 to Dallas, 1.2 for Chivas. And, that feels about right. They did have chances, but you can tell that the chances that Dallas got were higher quality because that 1.6 came from 8 shots, whereas the 1.2 for Chivas comes from 17 shots total. This is, really small percentage chances that they're taking from distance and taking from bad angles. So I'm thinking about Kayik's shot that was blocked in the box. I'm thinking about Musa's shot off the post, a couple of efforts in the first half, which were decent looks as well. And ultimately the one really good moment of composure, Farrington allowing the guy to slide past him and cut back to his left foot. And I mean, I don't think, I think Logan Farrington's always had a little, a really good left foot and a good two-footed finishing game, but I think that's an area that he's really grown in his time since he was drafted out of Oregon State. He would always want to get back to his right foot, but now he's shown the ability to go right or go left, and that makes life so difficult for the defense, and he showed that tonight. He couldn't have put the finish in a better spot than he did if he picked it up and put it in the goal exactly where it ended up.
And to have the confidence to want to take the ball back to your weaker foot, right? He's there. He could have shot with his right, but he understood. He got the defender in a bad spot, rushing across. He understands, if I take the ball back to my left, I'm going to my weaker foot, but that's the better choice. And to have the confidence in that moment to do that, I mean, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, and there's work that you see, and then there's work that's behind the scenes, and nobody loves to be on the training ground working on finishing more that I've ever seen than Logan Farrington. And it's sort of infectious between him and Musa and a young guy like Nick Simmons. I mean, every time they have the opportunity after training, it's a finishing drill. And there's a sort of a fun thing that the team does every match day -1, usually every Friday, where they have a whole team competition on two-touch finishing. And it's Musa and Farrington. And it's just completely unfair. They win a large majority of the time on that one. And it was just on display on that occasion, all that practice, all that work on the training ground coming to fruition in a big, big moment for the club.
Well, speaking of the big dog, let's hear from him as our own Garrett Melser was on the field directly after the game, so much we even saw him on television as he was interviewing Logan Farrington post this big 1-0 win for FC Dallas.
Hey guys, I'm here with the goal scorer, Logan Farrington. Logan, 6 points from 2 games in Leagues Cup. Huge win here against the crowd, against a good team. What does one mean to you?
I mean, it's incredible. This is such a good team, such a hostile environment over here. I thought the team played great, a lot of energy, and the game was very open, and I just had the chance to put it away, and that's what I did. It was a great ball by Santi across the goal, so it was everything we trained and just put into practice.
What was going through your mind when you got that ball in space, goal in front of you?
I was just thinking, like, if the ball comes to me, I'm going to score, and they were running across hard, and if I could just get it against their momentum, I'd have a free shot on my left, and that was it.
Love it. Congrats, Logan. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Logan.
Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, Logan. Logan, and I got to say, we talk about the growth in Logan Farrington. You just brought it up, Ryan, and talking about, seeing his development physically, the mentality change there. I mean, he's always been a confident player since he got here from Oregon State, but he's talking about, I know I'm going to score when you're playing in an international tournament on the road with about 15,000 or so loud Chivas fans screaming directly at you. That speaks not just to his actual abilities, but just to that mentality, that development that he's shown. And obviously the physical gifts are awesome, but to see that he's grown strong mentally and it has become that next level of mentality, boy, that just gives you a lot of encouragement, a lot of happiness.
Yeah, I mentioned on the broadcast going back to the San Diego away loss, and I think for both Logan and for the team, you can put this performance and that performance right side by side and say everything went wrong against San Diego and everything went right tonight. And I mean that in not in a way in terms of luck, but in terms of they earned everything tonight. Tactically, everything went right. And Logan Farrington has a chance at the death against San Diego. He doesn't show that composure, and he allows the defender to get back in and block his shot. Tonight, he shows the composure, understands the situation as he described, knows the momentum of the defender, knows how to get his shot off, and scores. And these two games side by side really show completely different sides of the same team. Against ball-dominant teams, Dallas can perform at a high level. They've done it. They've done it even against San Diego at home earlier this year. But now they've really got a good game on tape of a game in which they control it without the ball, and they hit on the counter, and they do it in sort of just a comically exaggerated way with so much possession for one side. We know they like to play against the ball anyway, but when a team like Chivas comes in and dominates the ball so much that, a lot of teams and defensive teams like Dallas, it'll look like what it looked like against San Diego, where they just get pinned back and they fall back and they fall back to the point where they can't even counter. They can't even get over the top because they're just so suffocated. And they did everything right tonight to avoid those same pitfalls. And, ends on the foot of Logan Farrington.
Sam, comment and a question, if I may.
Comment first, please.
I'll be recognized. Thank you. It's also very important that Dallas now in really good position in Leagues Cup. I know they've got a very tough game coming up, but right now they're sitting fourth, which would be good enough to get them into the elimination rounds. But they have gotten here without any goals from Petra Musa. Last three goals, Valiente, Moreno, and Logan Farrington. So I think that really speaks really well of how things are going right now, at least this week for FC Dallas. The question, guys, does Dallas win this game tonight if they don't win Wednesday? Because I mentioned, how some wins are more important than others, and just remembering what it feels like to win and getting that good feeling back. I think it really carried over into the performance tonight.
No, the Wednesday game, as we said on the pregame show, was all about rebuilding the momentum, and it was a home game, but it wasn't at Toyota Stadium. It felt, you had a pro, FC Dallas crowd, not a huge crowd on that night. I think there was a picture posted from the locker room where they're all celebrating, which is what they usually do for away games. So I think really they approached it like an away game. I know they stayed in the hotel the night before, and it was, for all intents and purposes, this is a continuation of the road form. And that San Diego game sort of knocked them off kilter in terms of the team and the mentality that they had been on the road. And so reestablishing that in about the least road game of all time in Mansfield, and then maybe one of the most road games of all time tonight, and then the biggest road game of all time coming on Wednesday. I think it's this progression, and it's going to be a real limit test. Can Dallas push up against the ceiling of the true giants of North America on Wednesday? They've climbed each step of the ladder now to get there, and I think the momentum is building, and now it's just going to be about seeing what they can do.
Yeah, I think everything Ryan just said is correct, but I think it actually also builds off something we talked about in the post game on Wednesday. The way that this team is, not just skill wise, but together wise. It would be very easy to say, "Hey, we won a game," and just kind of be let down. I mean, we see that in sports all the time. But they came in, against all the elements that we've already talked about and stressed, and they came in and they were hardened. They were up for the game. They took advantage of their moment, and then when the time came, they said, we're just not going to surrender. We're not going to make the typical mistakes we've seen this team make across multiple iterations, organizations, and that sort of thing. I think Wednesday absolutely played into a factor, because I think instead of just inspiring them on field, it's inspiring their mentality. It's inspiring how they play, because as we all know, winning is a skill. You learn how to win, and that's not always easy. But I think to answer your question very simply, no, I don't think they win.
I think the sheer effort and intensity of that first half. I mean, we'll talk about the second half where they ultimately go and win the game. I mean, Valiente, incredible work rate. Sarver, incredible work rate. Guys playing difficult positions where you have to cover a lot of ground. But Pedro Musa, I don't think the only game that stands out to me in terms of intensity and work rate and pressing at that level was last year's home playoff game against Vancouver. I thought he was on it, and he absolutely made life hell for the opposition, scored a goal on the night as well. But this meant something to him tonight, leading the line. And when you look to Pedro Musa to carry this team through stretches of the season and to be the guy, when he's also being the guy out of possession and sprinting to close down the goalkeeper and making life difficult in the defensive third for Chivas, that just has to bring up the mood of the entire team and bring up the intensity and bring up the willingness to sacrifice and make those hard runs and make those recovery sprints back. And it's a game model that we've seen work in these types of situations, but it's only going to work if everybody's bought in, and that starts with 9. That starts with Pedro Musa's effort tonight.
And I know that I just mentioned that he hasn't scored a goal in the tournament, but I think he's come back from the World Cup. He looks really sharp. His work on the ball is so good right now. I mean, he's winning tackles. It's like several times a game, it's like he wins a tackle twice. Like he wins a tackle, somebody else is around it, he's got to win it again, and that's sort of what he did on the goal. As he fought for a ball and a little scrum and dug it out from underneath his feet. In traffic, gets it over to Marino. Marino finds Logan Farrington. So the goals will come, but his work on the ball right now is just so good. He is not having any part of that post World Cup slump that you can sometimes get.
And I think we're seeing not just from Musa. There's a few players I kind of want to bring up in this moment because I think they're doing the same thing. They're elevating their game. And as a result, it's elevating the performance.
Yeah. Last thing on Musa.
Yes, please.
Dallas would not have scored a goal without his contributions in the 3 goals they've scored in this tournament so far.
Yep.
Work on the halfway line.
Yep.
I mean, just incredible.
Agreed.
His ability to hold it up, but not just hold it up. Hold up play. It can be, let me knock it down and give it to the guy that's going to create. He's doing both of those things. He's holding it up, turning the guy. He had Luis Romo on a leash up the near sideline, leading to that attack that leads to the goal. I mean, it was a number 9. It was a number 10. All that was missing was that finish, and he kissed off the post tonight. But just a complete performance in possession for him.
It's a number 9 that's number 1. Maybe they should give him the number 1 kid, even though that's traditionally a keeper number.
I'm out on that.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm with you here. But, guys in performances both Wednesday and tonight, like Joaquin Valiente, we saw Santi Moreno, Nolan Norris, even Osaze Urguide when he came in, Kaique, who wasn't perfect. But, you're seeing these guys really embody the things that Eric Quill's been preaching. Endless effort, endless pressing, that strong, just iron will almost of how he wants those tough guys. Earning every blade of grass is something he said when he first got here, and we're seeing more and more guys really pick up on that. And when we see those players put in those performances, these are the results. These positive results are really starting to come through.
Sam, I'll build right on top of that. You just named some guys. I totally agree. Really good matches. But to your point, who had the most defensive contributions for Dallas tonight?
I just looked, so I cheated.
Goodness gracious.
It's Herman Johansson.
That's another guy. I've got him written down as well.
Herman Johansson quietly had a very good night tonight. And but again, to your point, and he and Bernie played a lot of minutes at a tough position, at wing back the other night. So that's another guy who's elevated himself. I know that the goals haven't quite come yet. The goal contributions haven't really come, but I think Ryan on your build-up yesterday made a terrific point that he was 6 inches away from having a great goal contribution night. He could have had an assist if he just gets a little bit more precision on a ball squared across from Musa, and then he bangs one ball off the crossbar. So inches away from doing the work on that side, but he's quietly just. It's funny with this guy because I'm trying to figure out, do I like him or do I really like him? Because he does everything really solidly, but he doesn't do anything spectacularly.
Yeah, he was really, really solid tonight. I think he has really found a groove coming back from the World Cup break and grown into things. And look, I think it was, it's a relatively big money acquisition, right? And there's expectations that come with that. But those expectations can't come in week 10 of adapting to a new league and a new country for the first time in his career. I think it's fair to now start to have expectations for him in the second half of the season as he's embedded himself into the team, into the community and a new place to live and all of that. And coming back from, he was at the World Cup. He didn't end up getting on the field, but he was at the World Cup and that experience as well. I think he looks like the player that I was hoping that Dallas had brought in. And now it's just about those goals and assists because he was so prolific in his last season with Mialbi, had 15 goal contributions as a wingback. So we know he has the quality and the goals will come. Particularly, though, I just think he's getting into those situations so much more than he was in the first part of the season, and that's not come at the expense of the defensive work at the other end. He's doing that as well. Yeah, I wish in the first half he did have the one situation where the ball was played over to him on the right, and it just looked for all the world. If that was Shaq Moore, he would have absolutely lashed at it. But Johansson took a couple of touches and dribbled himself into a bad spot, and it got closed down. So that maybe is a little bit, maybe his confidence. Yeah, I was going to say mental. You only really think about that with a striker, but you know, it can come from anybody. And to be clear, by the way, and I know you think this too. I never thought he was bad earlier. He just wasn't being as impactful as you thought he might be. And he did have one game where he gave a penalty kick and an own goal, and that's probably the low point there. But otherwise, he hasn't been bad. It's just now he's being more impactful and finding more ways to make contributions toward what they got tonight, which is the W. And Bernie Kamungo was the same on the other side. Yep. I mean, 1v1 in the wide areas, like applied clamps multiple times against different guys that have different skill sets, can go one way or the other. And he was just locked down on that left side. And he was really well supported by Nolan Norris as well. I think first half, it was about Kamungo locking down that wide area. Second half, maybe Bernie is tiring a little bit, and it was about Nolan Norris stepping in and making up the numbers defensively. But, you know, a lot of the second half breaks, especially after the Dallas goal, was Kamungo just tirelessly running up and down the field and providing that width. And that's the best version of this structure, the best version of this team, is Bernie Kamungo being that pacey outlet on the outside. And he had a great two-way game tonight as well.
So I was curious about something while we were discussing this as a kind of a team concept. So I went back and looked at last year's schedule. And remember when Eric Quill told us last year and told the media this team really started to gel was the two-game road trip at LAFC and then San Jose. And that's really when they got on that big roll that ended up propelling them to the playoffs. Those were match days 23 and 24 for Dallas. Well, including tonight's game against Chivas, this is match 20. And they've been on the road a lot. And Quill told us last year this team really grew together when they've been on the road. Well, they've been on the road a lot lately, and they're kind of hitting that midseason rotation. I'm kind of wondering if this is going to be one of those squads that as they get more time together, as they get more, you know, in this case, just more togetherness, the whole is going to be greater than the sum of its parts, and they kind of get on a bit of a heater to finish both the Leagues Cup and hopefully the rest of the MLS season. Yeah, we'll see. Causation, not correlation, and all that, because last year I think what happened there was that was also about the time that the Lucho Acosta thing sort of unfolded, and I think that was the more coalescing factor. That's why this is a theory right now. Yeah, in that case. But I don't know if it happens again next year, then we'll call it a good solid trend. It happened in San Jose specifically, I think. Right, and where were we tonight? Yeah, not bad. And also, by the way, something I said a while ago, I think having gone out to San Jose and had a good performance, gotten a result recently, I think it helps you get across the finish line tonight because you go in there with belief. It's something Mark Dodd told me a long time ago. When good things happen at a stadium, you know, and now the next time you're there, you're rolling in on the bus, taking the same path, you walk into the same locker room. He said it just makes you feel a little bit better. Well, I'm a little, surprised, but also thankful Logan Farrington didn't request another ice-cold barley pop thrown at him like Sam Sarver had. I think he took the correct route. I think there would have been plenty of takers to throw it. I'll just say that. I think they were busy doing other things, unfortunately, as we didn't hear on the broadcast. I'm curious about something. We've kind of talked a little bit about this in the abstract, but Steve, you followed this club for a long time. Where do you think this victory itself on the road against a very hostile Chivas crowd and a very good Chivas team, where does this kind of rank in the pantheon of Dallas victories, however you want to rank it? Oh, gosh. I mean, you're covering a lot of years there. Dallas did go down which was it, Champions Cup or whatever
they were calling it then, and went in Mexico. I believe they might have been the first MLS club to go down there in that competition and win in Mexico. So that was a really important win. There have been some good ones, and I'm not sure if you're asking me about all the different competitions and Open Cups and all that. So it wouldn't rank quite so high, when you consider everything this club has put together and supporter shields and things like that. But it's an important win, and let's don't get carried away. I don't know that it's a historic win. I mean, it is at a neutral site, even though it's sort of neutral with an asterisk. But it's a good quality win, and another, just more evidence. It just keeps stacking up that this is just Eric Quill just has the touch on the road.
Yeah, I would say if we were 10 years further into Leagues Cup and it had a little more shine on it, then I think it would feel like maybe it could be a historic win. And also it can be reframed by what does the team go on and do from here.
That's right.
If they go on and get a result in Toluca, first of all, that's immediately into at least the top 10 of biggest results of all time for the club.
That would be a huge result.
But it would also reframe this one and what this one meant if they go on to do something in this Leagues Cup. But for me, in my time with the club over the last 4 seasons, it's probably in the top 5 in terms of biggest results, in terms of best performances, in terms of just all the factors around the game. There's been more entertaining games, there's been maybe higher quality games, but this one had a little bit of everything. I think it represents almost the peak of what this team, when they're playing at their best in this style of play, can do.
One more thing before we kind of turn the page to what's coming. Obviously, another 5-save night tonight for Jonathan Sirois. That's 3 straight clean sheets for the native Canadian. And Ryan, I think 2 things can be true. I think he has shown quality in those 3 matches, including back-to-back 9 saves. I'm also still not totally sure, though I do feel a little bit more that I have 100% grasp on how I feel about Sirois so far.
I think he's grown a lot as well in the last 3 games, not just, results-based analysis there that they've got the clean sheets and he's made the saves, but in his poise and in his way that he has approached the game and carried himself and patrolled the 6-yard box. I mentioned it on the post-game show after the game in Mansfield that he doesn't overly, come out of his line in an aggressive way or in a reckless way. He picks his spots and he picks them well, and he had one really big punch tonight. He actually had 7 saves. 2 of them were just later taken away for an offside or the ball going out of bounds, and actually the 2 that were taken away were probably the best of the bunch. So I'm really happy with what I've seen from Jonathan Sirois, and he came in starting the season as the backup, and then Dallas goes out and gets another goalkeeper over the summer break, and he's just continued to rise to the occasion. And really, ultimately, I don't think Eric Quill cared which of the 3 goalkeepers was starting. This is what he wanted. He wanted one of the guys to take that competition and take that on board and push their level to where they can go, because all 3 of these guys have the capacity, and they've shown it in this league at different times to be a top number 1. And it's just about pushing them and getting them in the right environment, and creating this loaded goalkeeper room of 3 potential starters has led to Sirois rising as the cream of the crop so far after the Daniel injury.
So I know we're getting a little leggy here on the link to the post-game show, but I do have a developing theory on Sirois. Would you like me to hold that for the podcast?
No, go for it.
No, hit it here.
Okay.
We've got another game on Wednesday.
So I wonder if sort of getting into his head here, which is always going to be dangerous. It's usually Sam's job.
Yes.
I'm wondering if he's sort of developing a little bit more confidence and sort of becoming a different goalkeeper, because he's recognizing that the defense and the team in front of him is pretty darn good, especially because in Montreal, he was all over the place. He always had a mistake or 2 in him. I saw some ability there, but he was like Montreal, chaos. It's not a good organization there. And I wonder if now it's almost like, a dog analogy here. If you've got a dog that's been a little bit mistreated, he's a little scared, but then you put him in a good family home, and he starts to settle in, and he looks around and says, "Oh,
I don't have to come for every cross. I don't have to be Superman every night."
This is the things are predictable in front of me, and I understand that not bad things. I don't walk into the stadium expecting bad things to happen. And so I feel like now I keep mentioning how he looks more settled. Maybe it's because he understands, oh, wait a minute, things in front of me are a lot better than I had in Montreal, and now I can just be the goalkeeper that I want to be.
I don't think that's a bad theory. I'd be curious to ask someone like Mark Todd about that. In fact, I may do that here in the next couple of days before we reconvene for the build-up. I don't think you can discount it entirely. I will say, let's keep them goal kicks between the lines there, because
it wasn't as bad tonight as the other night.
No, improvement still, but there was a couple I was like.
There was one late in the game where they just needed 30 seconds of possession, and it flew. And unfortunately, I think it flew out right over Eric Quill's head, and you just see his reaction. He was so frustrated.
Drew Keyshawn does not need any ideas from me, but maybe like $25 for every ball that goes out of bounds. That's just a suggestion, but like Lord knows.
Straight to the foundation.
The one you're talking about, that was on a ball that was played back to him, though, not on a goal kick. Is that right?
I can't remember exactly. I just know it over Eric Quill's head, and I was surprised the hat didn't get spiked.
It's not quite as bad as a goal kick.
Noted Jonathan Sirwall defender Steve Davis here trying to make up for his keeper, but it's hard to feel bad about anything when you have such a nice win. But it only gets harder from here because you've got 6 points. You've put yourself in good station in the Leagues Cup. But part 3 of this little adventure is coming. It's coming on Wednesday night. We're going to have Leagues Cup after dark because FC Dallas heads to Toluca. And Toluca, who's playing right now against LAFC, no score in the 18th minute. But they took Seattle to the woodshed in Seattle on the same day that Dallas beat Querétaro. And I'm sure Dallas is going to ride in there with a lot of confidence, but they're going to one of the bandbox stadiums in Mexico. It is going to be a loud and proud Toluca crowd. Ryan, we'll talk about this on the build-up on Tuesday, but this is going to be probably not just of Leagues Cup, but probably the biggest challenging game of Dallas's regular season, MLS or otherwise.
Absolutely, no doubt. I think on paper it's the hardest game in club history competitively. This is a Toluca team that's won trophies lately. They've been dominant in Mexico. Their squad is, if you go by transfer market metrics, just incredibly stacked, and they also have probably the scariest home environment to walk into. It's reminiscent of La Bombonera in Argentina. They designed the stadium that way to where it keeps the noise in. The crowd is right on top of the field. They call it going to hell. In many ways, it resembles that, and that's the task at hand. It's Dante's Inferno playing out in front of us as Dallas has 6 points, and you think 8 points probably assures you a spot. Out of the way the MLS teams have been performing, maybe you need 9, and maybe 9's not even enough. And if you get 9 and go out, then you just got to shake your head and say, yeah, it wasn't our year.
Look, maybe LAFC pulls off something tonight against Toluca.
I was going to say, would you rather Toluca already have 6 points, or would you rather Toluca being pushed after dropping a game against LAFC?
It's a good question, but I don't know if ultimately if they're going to feel like 6 is enough. So I think they would still play a pretty good lineup, whereas I think if they go into that last one with just 3, they might be thinking.
It's one of the downfalls of a very large table with a small amount of games, because the teams that play last have a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Because maybe they would, if this was the last game of the third round, maybe they wrapped it up and they don't go with a strong team, and Dallas can go in there and get their points that they need, because the MLS side has been weighted more heavily with wins so far.
Well, it will all probably come down to what happens on Wednesday night. It's going to be a 9 o'clock kickoff from Estadio Nemesio 10. So we will have pregame on the FC Dallas Radio Network at 8:30. Ryan and Steve will have kickoff at 9. And, of course, we will preview it on the build-up on Tuesday. You'll be able to catch that late Tuesday as we try to catch the injury reports. And, of course, Garrett will be on the trip, so we'll get any insights we can from him as he gets to make the trip to Mexico. And I'm a little envious of him for that, I'm not going to lie.
It's going to be fun.
But I am really curious to see the environment for this. But, again, build up on Tuesday, on late Tuesday, kickoff 9 o'clock, pregame 8:30 on the FC Dallas Radio Network for FC Dallas versus Toluca. No matter the result, you're not going to want to miss this because it's going to be exciting. But that's going to do it for the FC Dallas postgame show for this evening. FC Dallas wins 1-0 against Chivas at PayPal Park. For Ryan Figert, for Steve Davis, I have been Sam Hale. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
The preceding broadcast has been a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Want to hear something incredible?
The treatments are over, the infusions are done. Now you can get back to all the kid fun. We'll miss you lots, but you'll be happy to know chemo is over, so it's time to go.
At Children's Health, we're making groundbreaking advancements in cancer treatments every day to bring more healing and more hope to families. Innovative treatments filled with hope. That's incredible together. Learn more at childrens.com.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of